Pascal. We be going wild. Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Happy afternoon. Happy evening. Welcome to the Friday show. Holy cow. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget all of that. How y'all doing? How's your Friday been? It's been a wild one for me. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a wild one for me. Even yesterday, wild one. And there's a lot of wild stuff that's been going on over the last 24 hours. So we got a lot to talk about. And there's even a little speech that Trump's doing right now as we speak. So we may jump right into that in just a second. Because apparently Trump is talking to farmers. Yes. Doing a little speech to the farmers. Very interesting indeed. So please do me a favor before we get into everything, okay? Before we get into all this mucky muck, because there's a lot of mucky muck going on. Hit that like button down below. Crunch it, do it. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that reaction button, okay? And of course, also hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Come on, man. Subscribe, cabron. Be a part of the fam, okay? Hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, which is in the ticker going down across the screen right now down below, if you want to support even further. And of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Yes, we got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. pascalmerch.com. Now, here's the thing, guys. Here is the thing. You know, happy Friday to everyone. Happiest of Fridays. It has been quite an interesting couple of hours. It's been quite an interesting 24 hours, to be really honest. A lot of things going on. A lot of things are going to be going on tomorrow as well. We'll be tapping in and talking about that throughout the course of the show here. But there's a lot of stuff that's just been going on. A lot of craziness, and there's some good news, and then there's some WTF news, and then there's just a lot of comical news out here as well, like Jill Biden's security went bang bang in their own, like they bang bang their own self. Yeah. It's been an interesting thing. You know what I'm saying? It's been a very, 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 very interesting morning, start of a morning. So we got a little bit of that to talk about. We'll be talking about that, okay? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching all the way from Switzerland. Thank you so much. How's the chocolate? Is the chocolate still good? Last time I was there, that's all I was eating. Like that was breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. It was just nothing but chocolate. You know? Is it still good over there? I hope it's still good. K Travels. I hope it's still good. It better still be good. Okay? But good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. We got some things we got to get into, but unfortunately, Trump is doing a speech right now as we speak, so we're going to jump right into that. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He just came out. Apparently, he's speaking to farmers. Yeah, it's very strange because I don't see any pitchforks. You see what I'm saying? I don't see no bulldozers. I don't see no cows. I don't see no, like, you know what I mean? Like, are farmers that advanced now that they don't, they super swaggy with their clothing that they don't, like, I'm looking for there's a few hats. There's like a few cowboy hats. It like two of them, but everybody else is wearing suits. And I just figured I'd wear the overalls. You know what I mean? Nobody. Where the goats and the cows and the pigs and the rooster going, "Arr, arr," every 5 seconds. I figured he was going to be doing a speech out near a farm or something. But no, he's just outside the White House, just chopping it up with the farmers. It looks like regular everyday people over there. But apparently this is for the farmers. But there's no farmers there, it looks like. Don't you see that as a little bit weird? Am I the only one who sees that as a little bit odd? Yeah, transportation, man, the gas prices. There's something to talk about, right? And no, we're not talking about the farmers' insurance. We're talking about farmers, the ones that grow our crops. Yeah. So there's that. There's that thing. So let's take a look. Like I said, I don't where the pitchforks. No, I'm not saying pitchforks and torches like they're out here, rallying against Frankenstein, okay? Or the monster from Frankenstein, just to be completely correct on it. All right? No, these are supposed to be farmers. But that's the other thing too. Given the fact that a lot of their help, farm hands and all that, have been deported, who's actually running the tractors and feeding the cows and turning the soil or whatever the hell it's called? Who's doing that right now whilst these farmers are in DC? Are these tractors just driving off the field by itself right now? Like, what's going on here? I find that odd. It's interesting, because every day counts. Every day counts when it comes to being a farmer. But I digress. Let's hear what Trump's got to say now. Let's see what he's saying. Yesterday, by the way, I just want to say this just really quick. We hopped off early, but during that time when Trump was having his meeting, his cabinet meeting, and he was talking about all the things that he's been doing that's been doing great. He's like, America's still the hottest country it's ever been. The gas prices are up, but they'll eventually go down. Eventually they'll go down. He actually called Carg Island Ireland. Or maybe it wasn't Carg Island. No, sorry, not Carg Island. Diego something. I forgot. The army base that's on the island. He called it Ireland. Sorry. He called that Ireland. Diego Garcia. Or is it Garcia Diego? I think it's Diego Garcia. Yes, Diego Garcia. Yeah, he called it Ireland. Ireland's the complete opposite direction. He called it Ireland. Now, we've all made mistakes. Like I said, I called Diego Garcia Carg Island for a second there. Those mistakes do happen, but you didn't hear me say Hawaii. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I just want to make that abundantly clear. He called Diego Garcia, Army Base Island, Diego Garcia, Ireland. And Ireland's over, like Diego Garcia is down this way, right? In respect to like where Iran is on the map, it's down that way. Ireland's up that way. You see? And he couldn't tell the difference between his own army base, Diego Garcia, or Ireland. Okay, now you got that. Let that sink in. He said Ireland. He said Ireland. And then apparently he was like hitting on a Fox News anchor live on her show. Sub, what you doing, girl? Damn. You conservative ass. What's up? Crazy. Just crazy. You know? So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Happy Friday. He's like, sup, girl? He didn't say sup, girl. That'd be hilarious if he did. But here's the thing, though. Biden was just as messed up. Okay? Biden was just as messed up. Was he not? Biden was crazy. He's pooping himself on stage. I'm sorry. I know some of you all, this is true. I love Biden. And I understand that. Love you, whoever. I love me some him. You can love him all you want. Or Trump. It's fine, but I'm going to call it out. He was up there and he's taking a poop. He took a little dookie. I'm just saying, like, you know, these guys are getting old. Okay? Think about that. How long that his body's been withholding poop when it's time, like, you know what I mean? And then finally one day, your body's just going to give up. You know what I mean? I don't know how old, Biden was at the time, okay, when the excrement exited his body. But let's be real. He was in France, if I'm correct. And they're doing this, patriotic, burr, 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 you know what I mean? And he's standing there in that moment in time, 80 some odd years into his life, 70 some odd years into his life, his butthole said, I'm done. Seriously, just said, we're done. We're done. We're done withholding these secrets. We're just going to let it go. It was like the anti-Gandalf. You know? It wasn't, you shall not pass. It was, come on through. You know what I'm saying? So we seen that. And we cool with it. He finished his term. No 25th Amendment was evoked or whatever it's called, invoked or nothing of that sort. You know what I'm saying? None of that happened. It was all good. So, he made a mistake on Diego Garcia, calling it Ireland. It's fine. It's not fine. It's actually not fine. But you see how no one sat there and jumped in and said, Diego Garcia, sir. They just let him talk. And he just kept on saying, Ireland. Okay. I'm just saying, at one point, we all have this moment in our lives. If we get blessed enough to get into our golden years, okay? Real talk. One day, your body is just going to say, no more. You see what I'm saying? It's a scary thought. But he still ran the country. Depends and all. So, hey. Ireland, pooping his pants. I'm just saying. It's just something to think about. It's not really anything to think about, but it will happen. Just saying that out loud. Yeah, he did defecate in the White House too. Yeah, he did. You saw the video. The girls, she just had this look. She had the stank face on. She was trying to be diplomatic. She was trying to be very, but she just couldn't help it. Because, you're going, what the, what is that? What is that? Okay, we're done talking about defecating. Okay, guys, like we're gonna move on. Okay, let's get into this speech that he had for farmers. That it doesn't even look like farmers are there. Like they no, do you realize I just saw something. I just see something. Look at this. Do you see? I'm trying to point it with like my pen can go all the way through the screen and touch the other screen. Something's seriously wrong with me today. But if you notice, he has one, it's like he purposely asked for a guy to show up with a 10-gallon cowboy hat up there up there by the podium. You see that there. But what's even crazier is that he has an American flag wrapped, I'm assuming like bulldozer or something over here, a tractor over here, and then he's got another tractor on the other side. So you know for a fact this is for farmers now. Be weird if it wasn't there. You know? You wouldn't know at all that he was speaking to farmers without the cowboy hat up there next to the podium and the two tractors on either side of the screen. You see what I'm saying? Ain't that some crazy stuff? And then you know where these tractors are going to go? They're going to go back to wherever they came from, sitting and collecting dust. Okay, let's just get into this. He was like, "Are we done?"
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have you at this beautiful house. It's a beautiful house. There's no other house like it. I've seen them all, believe me, and this one is tops. But I'm thrilled to welcome all of you to the South Lawn for the single largest gathering of American farmers that the White House has ever seen, has ever had. And rain or shine, and you don't mind rain, shine. The one thing about farmers, they don't care about that weather. They get out there, it makes no difference. But rain or shine, no one is more grit or greater spirit than the American farmer. We love the American farmer. I just gave you $12 billion. I don't know if you know that or not. You make enough money, it doesn't matter to you, right? But we just provided $12 billion, right, Brooke, for the American farmer. You think Biden would have done that? No, he wouldn't have done that.
5 seconds into the conversation, we already got a Biden hit. Number one. Let's go.
We're delighted to be joined by Secretary of Agriculture, who's doing a fantastic job, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, thank you very much.
Oh, they're the hats.
Secretary of...
They're the hats. Now it's truly a farmer's speech.
Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert. Bobby. EPA Administrator is doing such an incredible job. He's getting those costs down for you, and he's always protecting the environment, but he does it quickly. A real superstar, Lee Zeldin. Thank you, Lee. Great job. And someone everyone loves, and they love in particular the job she's doing, Small Business Administrator Kelly Loeffler. Kelly, thank you very much. Thanks as well to John Hoeven, Joni Ertz, Pete Ricketts, along with the chairman of the House Agricultural Committee, G.T. Thompson. And I tell you, they're fantastic people, that they are warriors. And representatives, Jim Baird, Randy Feenstra, Monica De La Cruz, Brad Finstad, Michelle Fishback, Mark Messmer, Victoria Sparks, Frank Lucas, Tracy Mann, Zach Nunn, Adrian Smith, and Derek Van Orden. They're all out here. They want your votes desperately, desperately. They're only here for your vote, you know that. But they're here because actually they did a great job. Those were people that were the most, I would say, the most aggressive for the farmer, which is what we want. Other than me, they were right in there. I was more aggressive than any of them. But also with us is the CEO of Tractor Supply, Hal Lawton, who will soon open the company's 2,500th store in honor of America's 250th. Hal, thank you very much. It was great to meet you at the Oval Office 2 minutes ago. I also want to thank the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation Zippy Duval. I've known Zippy for a long time. Zippy's been with me right from the beginning, right, Zippy? From day one, he liked Trump. He said, well, I don't know, but I just had a good meeting with him. I'm gonna go with Trump, right? That was in 2015. And very special thanks to the proud young parents of two beloved American institutions, Future Farmers of America and 4-H. Two great things. For 4 disastrous years before I took office, Sleepy Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress crushed America's farmers with the worst inflation in the history of our country. Prices were going through the roof. So bad. It was so bad what they had done to our country. And by the way, in so many other ways too, borders and everything else. But they crippled the American agriculture industry with brutal restrictions and failed to negotiate even a single new trade deal on your behalf. Not one trade deal was negotiated on your behalf during the Biden administration. And we happen to be the exact opposite. We have so many trade deals, we don't know what the hell to do with them. We need more lawyers. But now the American farmers, ranchers, growers, and producers once again have a true friend and champion in the Oval Office. And in my first year back in the White House, farm income has soared by 20% very quickly. I repealed the Biden EPA's ridiculous water restrictions. You had water restrictions that gave you everything but water. Yet it needed a little water. They wouldn't give you it. It was crazy. To keep federal bureaucrats off your land and out of your pockets, it's a big deal. With the help of Republicans in Congress, we passed the largest tax cuts in American history. Already 45% of filers have taken advantage of our new tax provisions with an average refund so far of almost $5,000, a record. In fact, we passed them and people are just starting to see how important they are. It's amazing what's happened. The numbers are, they're reporting that it's much more money than I thought. I tell you, I call it the great, big, beautiful bill is a great, big, beautiful bill. And it's especially in terms of your tax refunds and your taxes, because it's the lowest tax we pay. It's the biggest tax reduction in the history of our country. It's also the biggest regulation reduction in the history of our country, which as farmers, you know what that means. It means a lot of good things. We made the small business tax deduction permanent, benefiting 98% of America's farmers and ranchers. And thanks to bonus depreciation, farmers can now deduct 100% of the cost of new tractors and all equipment in the first year. In other words, you buy a tractor, you deduct the whole price. Normally it goes over a 38-year period. This is slightly better. You got these tiny little deductions that weren't even worth it. Now you can do it at one time. Only Trump could have gotten you that one. That was a big thing. And in the first term, you know, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country in the first term. We are blowing them away right now. And by the way, we're doing really well in Iran, just so you understand. You know, I mean, how good is our military? How good is our military? Very importantly,
Hold on. Are we really? He's saying we're doing very, very well in Iran. Yet we're hearing that they are going to be deploying, or at least that there are thousands upon thousands of soldiers that have been deployed in the Middle East already, guys. Already. Because, you know, they're stationed in other areas. So they're now getting deployed from those bases. So how is he sitting here saying that we're doing really well in the Iran war if now he's adding more than just the 5,000 Marines, the 3,082nd Airborne troops, and now they're saying in upwards of potentially 50,000 more troops being involved in the situation? Come on, guys. Let's be real. Let's be real. Come on now. Come on now. We're doing well. We're doing better. We're kicking ass, taking names. Are we? Sorry, I'm just asking. I'm asking all the questions that we're all asking in our minds. You say that we're kicking ass. You say we're doing better than ever before, but we're hearing and we're seeing different. This is Yes. Is there yes? Is there a video of Trump calling Diego Garcia Ireland Wellazella? Yes, there is. Don't worry, I'll pull it up for you guys. Okay, he mistakenly meant to call Diego Garcia. He meant to mention Diego Garcia, but instead he called it Ireland. I'm not kidding. He may have tried to okay. In his defense, I'll say this. All right, he could have been trying to say like it could potentially that distance from where they shot the missile to Diego Garcia could have gone as far out and as far west as Ireland. Maybe he meant that, but he didn't say that. He said 2,500 miles. We didn't know that they could do that. They hit Ireland. And he kept saying Ireland. Not a joke. These are truths. These are facts. But let's continue. Oh, by the way, we're not staying on this forever, baby, because there's so much going on. But I do want to hear a little bit of this speech. And I'm sure you guys want to hear some of it, too. And here's the other thing, too. Are farmers screwed? Maybe. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what's popping, though.
In American farms from extinction by virtually ending the unfair estate tax. We've ended the estate tax, or as they call it, the death tax, and you can now keep your family farms in the family. We had a problem. See, these are all people that are clapping that love their children. If they didn't love their children, they wouldn't care about what I just said. But most of you, does anybody not love your child? Because that would be the one person that would have clapped the other way. No, it's a big thing. I would see farmers and they pass away. They love their life. They love this. There's something about a farmer, maybe more than anybody else. They love that. They love the soil and they love their farms, and they'd pass away and they'd have wonderful children, and the children would get hit with this massive tax bill for the value of the farm. Sometimes the farm is very valuable, but the cash isn't so readily available. And they'd go out to a bank and they'd borrow money, and they'd borrow and borrow and borrow to pay the tax. They'd be working for 20 years to pay it off. If they had a bad season, they'd lose their farm. We lost it many, many times. And you'd have actually many, many suicides over it. They would actually commit suicide because they couldn't stand the concept of losing their family farm. And I ended the death tax or the estate tax on family farms and small businesses. So I think you're appreciative of that. It was a terrible thing. It's too bad that so many people in the past couldn't have taken advantage of it, because it would have made a lot of happy people out of people that really have had a miserable life. When they lose their farm, they're never the same. They're never the same. And I hope our farmers never forget that every single Democrat in Congress voted against all of the provisions I just mentioned, including the estate tax. And Republicans, all of these Republicans have stood strong and fought hard and gotten it. But the Democrats voted against every single provision that I just mentioned, including the tax reductions and including, frankly, the estate tax. But we delivered. The Republicans delivered for the farmers, and it was not easy because the opposition to farmers by Democrats is very strong. Thanks to our trade deals, you're now sending over $40 billion in American soybeans to China. I want to thank President Xi of China, because we had a deal at 20, and I said, could you do me a favor? It's a big place. Could you double it? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, could you make it 40 instead of 20? And he overrode all of his people. He said, all right, I'll do it. And you got 40 instead of 20. So now you go out and buy bigger tractors. What can I tell you? Remember when that was announced, everybody was surprised. Everybody thought it was going to be 20. He was very good. But the American soybeans are now being shipped to China in record amounts, and we expanded markets for American beef, dairy products, biofuels across Asia, Europe, South America, like we've never had before. Our farmers and agricultural producers do not want handouts. They really don't. The farmers come to my office a lot, and they just, sir, please just give us a level playing field. Others want more than that. They want everything. The farmers want a level playing field. And I talk about it all the time. That's all they want, because you were just the last 4 years before this one, before our great first year. We have records in so many categories, but during the past administration, you were treated really badly, and you were treated badly by the world because you had nobody that cared about defending you. But you want that fair shot and a level playing field, and I'm giving that to you. And I think I'm actually giving you much better than a level playing field. I'm giving you a field that goes like this. Makes it a lot easier for you, the things that we've done. And to further help farmers recovering from the Biden catastrophe, we use money taken from tariffs. The tariffs, we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars from the tariffs. And as I said, we gave you $12 billion in farm relief. And that happened just recently because you were hurt by certain countries unfairly. And I said you were unfairly hurt, and we gave you $12 billion, and that made up for it. I'm also asking Congress to quickly pass the new farm bill. And today I'm promising to request additional farm relief for our great patriots in the next funding bill. So we have you taken care of in both instances, and we're pushing very hard for the new farm bill. The Democrats fight us. I don't know the Democrats fight us on farm bills, and they always have. They are not your natural politician. Any farmer that votes for a Democrat is crazy. They are brutal on the farmers. One of the Americans benefiting from our policies and new market access is Joel Vyrek, a fourth-generation farmer from Woolwich Township, New Jersey. Joel, he really has a great story to tell. Please, Joel, come up and tell that story.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak today and for having this event and inviting us all here. Yeah, I'm a vegetable farmer from Woolwich Township, New Jersey. We farm a few hundred acres where we specialize in Jersey fresh tomatoes. I do that along with my family. Also, I guess most importantly today, as you spoke about the farm bill, I just urge Congress to pass a farm bill. It's vital to everything that we do. Everything from financing to crop insurance, and it's vital to the USDA and the farm credit system. Also, we appreciate the bridge payments, your policy on trade, everything. It's going to help strengthen what we do. So I just want to thank you again for just everything you're doing to make America great again.
You know, while I'm up here, I'm looking around. I love construction. You see all those nice Caterpillars and John Deeres. We have a lot of John Deeres. That's a big dig. And we're building a ballroom for 150 years. They haven't, they've wanted, every president said, could we have a ballroom, please? A room where you could have a lot of people. So when the president of China, France, when somebody comes over from the UK, including the king, we have the king coming over very shortly, and King Charles. So we can have like a large room, because the White House is incredible, but it was never had a ballroom. And we're building, that'll be the finest ballroom anywhere in the world when it's completed. And I'm just looking at the construction. In fact, if you don't mind, I'll walk over there and look for a little while. Then I'll come back and I'll continue to speak. I love construction. I love building beautiful things. But you're going to have something very, really tremendously. And thank you, Joel. And every day we're looking for new ways to support our farmers, reduce your costs, and to help lower the price of food for the American family. Last month, we issued a major new rule declaring that farmers have a right to repair your own equipment. Can you believe that one? And that action will save the typical farmer up to $30,000 on major repairs. I mean, I heard about this. I said, you got to be kidding. You don't have the right to fix. These guys can fix anything, but you didn't have the right to fix your own equipment. We ended that rather quickly. And now you do. And I did another thing, and I'll explain it in a second, because we had a ridiculous Washington restriction called the so-called diesel exhaust fluid requirement. Do you know about that? It was a basic disaster. Today, we're announcing new guidelines drastically limiting these ridiculous DEF rules. saving farmers and consumers billions and billions of dollars.
Okay, I get. We get the idea. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm not watching the whole thing. There's a lot going on, and but it's good. I'm not sitting here saying that what's going on with the farmers for America are not important. It is just as equally as important. But that's why I wanted to play a little bit of it for you guys, not the whole doggone thing, because I don't think he takes questions or anything. Even as I jump ahead to where it is live right now.
So the Farm Bill is going to happen fast, very, very, very fast. And thank you all for being at the White House. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's a very short speech. A couple people came up talking about what's going on. Thank you so much for bringing acknowledgement and recognition to farmers and stuff like that. Okay. If you're interested in checking it out, by all means, go and check out the full thing. It just wrapped. They just got done. But I wanted to give you some of it, not the whole thing, because we got other things to talk about. And there's a lot of other things to talk about. Okay. So let's get into some other things. Now, let me just say this. We do need to talk about the 50,000, that they're saying 50,000 troops to be deployed, which is even more insane if you really ask me. Sorry, I had it up here. Now I'm trying to find it again. It just disappeared on me. 1 second, guys. But I mean, there's a lot of news, a lot of things that are coming out, basically saying that, yeah, there's a lot of ground troops, et cetera, in the area. And then also Cash Patel's emails got hacked. Some not so great photos and stuff like that have leaked. Thank God there's nothing, from what I've seen so far, nothing too bad has been sent out. You know what I mean? Like this ain't no Kim Kardashian tape, if you get what I'm saying, that it has been leaked or anything so far. But they are putting out stuff with Cash Patel and everything, which we are going to talk about it here in a second. But one thing is for sure, this happened 2 days ago, and I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to you guys about it because there's so much going on revolving around this whole war overseas. Of course, just so you know, Savannah Guthrie's, part 3 and 4, I guess, came out. The other part of her interview came out today. We may look at that tonight when we get some free time, because there's now an unedited, full, extended version out that says there's a lot more information in that interview. This other part of this interview that they didn't, they cut a lot of things down for time, and then they put out the unedited version out, and there's a lot, there's a lot going on. But really quick, I do want to show this to you guys. Okay, so Representative Nancy Mace, if you don't know who she is, she's Republican, conservative. She has been one of those people that has been hardcore about the Epstein files being released, which obviously not all of it has been released, but a good, a portion of it was, right? But she was one of the very few Republicans that were actually on the side of having the Epstein files released. She said something, and I just feel like whenever you hear information coming from the same side, like from MAGA, and they're saying stuff like this should definitely concern every single American out here. Take a look at listen to this. She says, and this is in her tweet on X. She said, just walked out of the house, out of a House Armed Services briefing on Iran. Let me repeat, I will not support troops on the ground in Iran, even more so after this briefing. So she said out loud, hell no, I ain't down for it. I ain't playing with this. I ain't got time for this. No. Nancy Mace even said this. She MAGA. Maybe not as MAGA as she used to be, given the fact that, the whole Epstein files and all of that as well. But let's be real. Just walked out of a House Armed Services briefing on Iran. Let me repeat, I will not support the troops on the ground in Iran, even more so after this briefing. Guess what? There are more boots on the ground. There are going to be more boots on the mother-loving ground, which is not good if you ask me. They say in upwards of 50,000 troops already in the area, which is, in my personal opinion, absolutely crazy. Hold on. Which is absolutely crazy if you ask me. Okay? Where the heck did it go? Hold on, guys. This stuff is so crazy. And information is just coming out so damn fast. You have one thing and then it disappears and then, more stuff comes out. It's pretty insane. Give me a second. Where the hell did it go? Yeah, I'm going to need a second to find it, I guess. Because I had it and now it's gone. What the hell? One second, guys. I'm going to pull that up, but let me pull this up because somebody asked for this. So I pulled this one up too. Trump mistaking Diego Garcia for Ireland. Let's take a look at this, shall we?
And I think we've been proven right. They took one missile, went 2,500 miles. They supposedly didn't have a missile like that. They had no missile with that capability. But they shot the now famous Ireland, the island that the UK was very afraid to give us because they didn't want to get dragged in. But we don't want to get dragged into their wars either. It's one thing we're very disappointed. I'll say it publicly. We're very disappointed with NATO. And I think we've been proven right. They took one missile, went 2,500 miles. They supposedly didn't have a missile like that. They had no missile with that capability. But they shot the now famous Ireland, the island that the UK was very afraid to give us because they didn't want to get dragged in. But we don't want to get dragged into their wars either. It's one thing we're very disappointed. I'll say it publicly. We're very disappointed with NATO. And I think we've been proven right. They took one missile, went 2,500 miles. They supposedly didn't have a missile like that. They had no missile with that capability. But they shot the now famous Ireland, the island that the UK was very afraid to give us because they didn't want to get dragged in.
Yeah. I mean, he really did say that. This is, you know what I mean? Like he really did say that. He's, and then it's not like he tried to correct himself, but he still kept going. Like, what? What is he talking about? You see what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down. To me, we all know he has a tendency, okay, to misspeak, but at the same time, that one's not so great. But again, like I said, we've seen, other moments of slippage, We've seen other moments of slippage. Let me show you what I'm talking about with this 50,000 troops. Okay. This is crazy. Now, this is per the New York Times and other independent journalists, but they're saying about 50,000 troops are assigned to overall operation the Pentagon calls Epic Fury. So, again, 50,000 troops are assigned to the overall operation the Pentagon calls Epic Fury. Now, that is a very, very big deal, if you ask me. They've already been saying that the Pentagon is in talks, and they're weighing in on the possibility of sending 10,000 more troops over there as well, which is absolutely crazy. Okay. Hold on. I got that too. Take a look at this.
You're watching live now. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's get the latest on the war in the Middle East. Rebecca Castor with this report.
After nearly a month of relentless strikes on Iranian targets, President Trump says Iran's remaining leaders are begging to make a deal.
They're talking to us because they've got a disaster in their hands. They're defeated. They can't make a comeback.
At Thursday's cabinet meeting, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff confirmed Pakistan helped deliver Trump's 15-point peace plan to the Iranians.
And you have directed us to maintain confidentiality on the specific terms. We have told Iran one last thing. Don't miscalculate again.
While the Iranians are denying the
like Jay Rich, yeah, when you winning so hard, you need to send more troops to watch your win. That's insane, right? We winning that big. We winning, we kicking ass so much that we need to bring in more troops just to make sure that we really take home the W. Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't. To me. And here's the thing. We could very well be winning this war. We could be. But because we live in a time where we've been given nothing but lies over and over and over again, it is very hard for us to truly believe everything that's coming out of anybody in the administration's mouth. Okay? Like, again, oh, we're doing so great. We're kicking so much ass, but we're sending more. We're even talking about more troops being sent to Iran. Why? If we're kicking ass and taking names, why would we even need to have boots on the ground? Why would we even need boots on the ground, guys? That just doesn't make sense.
Talks publicly, President Trump revealed a gift they sent earlier this week.
They said to show you the fact that we're real and solid and we're there. We're going to let you have 8 boats of oil. They then apologized for something they said, and they said, we're going to send 2 more boats.
But the commander-in-chief is making preparations in case diplomacy fails. Marines and elite Army paratroopers are heading to the region, raising concerns on Capitol Hill that ground operations could be coming.
The president seems bent on a path toward putting our sons and daughters in harm's way.
The answer is no. We can achieve the strategic goals that Donald Trump wants to achieve without doing that.
Some Gulf allies are concerned the U.S. will end the war too soon, leaving them vulnerable to future attacks. But President Trump says they'll be protected. At the White House, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And a live look at the White House on this Thursday evening. We do want to bring in retired Marine Intelligence Officer, National Security Analyst, and the host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kemper. He's here with me. Hal, a 10-day extension we heard today from President Trump. We'll get to that in a moment, but we just got some breaking news in within the past hour or so from the Wall Street Journal. They just sent this out. I'll read it. They say the Pentagon is looking at sending up to 10,000 additional ground troops to the Middle East to give President Trump more military options, even as he weighs peace talks with Tehran, Department of Defense officials with knowledge of the planning said.
Make that make sense, guys. Now, I understand. Somebody in the chat was like, yo, you don't know nothing about how protocol and procedures would be done when it comes to war. That's true. I'm me. But I also got logic. I'm also a logical person. If you're there and you're going, hey, let's stop fighting. We come in peace. but you still show up with some of your baddest mother lovers with you, that doesn't seem like you are willing to do peace talks and you all strapped up. You're suited and booted. That does not give off the impression that you're willing to try to work things out. It sounds like you're getting ready for escalation in this particular war that he says is not a war, yet he does still say that it is a war in sentences and speeches as well, and on tweets and stuff. But still, like I said, it just makes no sense. Bringing in 10,000 more troops on top of them saying, oh yeah, we're working things out. Oh, they sent me so many good gifts of the most beautiful, very, very expensive, huge gifts. Huge gifts. So many. In fact, they gave me more boats of oil, that liquid gold. They gave me more gold, liquid gold. And I think I'm going to be sending some of that over to Ireland. Yes, they gave me so much oil. It was amazing. Like, come on, guys. Come on. What is true and what's not? Come on now. Oh, come on.
So, Hal, 10,000 additional troops. We were reading through the journal's reporting. It doesn't appear that it's clear what part of the military these 10,000 are going to be coming from. But when you see the number 10,000, what questions come to mind?
Well, actually, when I see the number 10,000, we're already sending the first 1,000 of what I thought was going to be 3,000 of 82nd Airborne, which is an immediate response force that we're sending over there. What this could be is adding another brigade onto that, plus some other support. So that would bring it up to about 10,000, or it could be they're bringing in some other troops from somewhere else. But what that does is just deploying them in theater, not using them in combat, not using them to take anything, but just having them in theater actually changes the math for Iran and certainly for the IRGC, because now they're looking at a force that's big enough to take not only these smaller islands in the Strait of Hormuz and potentially Kark Island, further up the Persian Gulf where 90% of the oil comes out of, but now they're looking at a force that, if combined with some forces from the GCC countries, particularly I'm thinking of Saudi Arabia, potentially could take Keshem Island and hold Keshem Island as well. And there certainly is a scenario in there without invading, the mainland, if you will, of Iran, that we could literally do, I hate it to sound very World War II-ish, but almost an island hopping campaign throughout the Persian Gulf, particularly in the Strait of Hormuz, and basically could take control of the Strait of Hormuz. And that 10,000 gives you that additional force structure you need as shock troops to basically take those types of those island objectives.
So President Trump did have a cabinet meeting today. We heard a lot from the president and from some of his closest advisors. Today, we heard that a 10-day extension was announced by the president. Basically, just to give a little bit of background, President Trump has been saying that they will not strike energy infrastructure, basically, within Iran. Right now, President Trump says this 10-day extension is going to last until, I believe, April 6th, if I have it right. Is Trump striking an easier tone than we're used to with Iran?
It's interesting. You almost hear like two different tones in the same meeting. On the one hand, you'll hear something that sounds, certainly like there's discussions, negotiations, there's consideration going both ways. He talked today about the present was the term he used for that the Iranians, not clear which Iranians, authorized initially 8 ships, 8 tankers to come through. And by the time it was done, 2 more were added. So it was 10 total tankers. My understanding is that some, maybe most, maybe not, I don't know, maybe all of the tankers were Pakistani flagged, but they were allowed to go through the Strait of Hormuz to get more oil out. Rather interesting, but that's on the, that's sort of it makes it sound like the things are toning down. On the other hand, the real world of what's going on out there is there's lots of strike missions, and the U.S. and Israeli planes are hitting a lot of targets, and in many cases they're going back to some of those more difficult targets where they have those underground missile cities, and they're hitting them again and again to take out the launcher systems in order to clog them up and slow them down. So You hear that, and then if you also see where 10,000 additional troops. You got 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit that's coming into CENTCOM's area of responsibility, I believe tomorrow. You got 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit that's steaming across the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, might be in days ahead, and then you have the first 1,000 of 3,000 82nd Airborne troops that may be in CENTCOM's area of responsibility. I'm not quite sure. And so on the one hand, it's I don't know if you call it a carrot and stick. I guess the carrot is that there's some level of diplomatic exchange, some level of language, not direct talks, but indirect talks going on. And then the other is that we're getting ready to do some stuff that if those talks go sideways, we might do things like take Kark Island.
Trump earlier this week cryptically said that Iran gave the U.S. a present, which we've now learned was the allowance of 8 boats of oil to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Those tankers are under Pakistani flags, we're learning. How far do signs of good faith typically go with President Trump?
That helps a lot. That actually was very interesting. And it says a lot that it was Pakistani flag. Who is our main interlocutor working with the Iranians? As far as we know, it's working with the Pakistanis. So they allowed these Pakistanis, not the first time. I should mention that the Iranians have let tankers and other ships go through the straits, not a lot, but a few. And some of those were Pakistani flags. So does seem to be some sort of rapport going here with Pakistan, that some sort of consideration given to Pakistan, and then at the same time, kind of, I guess you could call it a present or whatever. I'd say consideration to the U.S. and allowing some traffic to go through. Now, that's not oil that's going to come to the U.S. And a lot of people point out, it's like, so what's the point? That's great those tankers went through, but that oil is going to go somewhere else in the world. That's true, but at least it is some traffic going through. And you can be sure that when we're watching those tankers go through, we're watching very closely the way that they went through, trying to figure out the exact routes they're using. Because one of the big concerns we have is of sea mining. And there's a variety of different sea mines that can be used. Some sit on the ocean floor, and it's not that deep in the Strait of Hormuz, and they sense anomalies, magnetic or movement or something on the surface, and they'll launch a sea mine up to attack a ship. Some actually have the capability of launching torpedoes. There's just a variety of different sea mines out there. They're not just dumb mines floating uselessly in the ocean, which is kind of an impression we got from some of the sea mining issues that popped up in the Black Sea after the Ukraine war broke out. They have sea mines with more capabilities. So we're watching very closely where these ships are going, because that indicates that those particular lanes may be open to future traffic, which may be able to, assuming we seize control or take control or develop some sort of greater control within the strait, that might be a way to put that surge of backed up tanker traffic through the strait a lot faster.
Okay. So again, like I said before, we lost the plot. We've lost the whole premise of this show, which is regime change. Now we're on something else. Like I said, it's a completely different story. It's just as bad as jumping the shark. It's like the Fonz jumping the shark in Happy Days or something like that. That's what they call jumping the shark on TV shows and in series. When they just do something so outlandish so that they can change the plot or change the story, but keep the show going, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing here. They are jumping the shark because at first, like I said, or they've already jumped the shark. At first, it was about regime change. Now it's not about regime change. It's about something completely different, y'all. Now it's about something completely different. Now it's about the Strait of Hormuz. Now it's about trying to figure out what's going on here. They're deploying airborne, 82nd Airborne Brigade over to the area. Why? Is it specifically for that? Is it specifically to force regime change in Iran? Because again, from what I'm understanding, it seems like this is a regime that it doesn't matter. As soon as you chop the head off the snake, 15 other ones grow on the 15 other heads grow on the snake, and they're even more venomous and more vicious than the one that was there before. And we already heard about they were trying to negotiate with other leaders, and then they wiped those leaders out. So of the likes of, Larijani, Soleimani, there's other ones that were there that they were in talks with peace and trying to make things happen, ceasefire and et cetera. And then all of a sudden they chopped the heads off of those guys too. So it's like, okay, so who's in control? Who's in demand? Who has the brass ring right now? Is it Khamenei? Is it Ayatollah Jr.? Or no? We don't even know. I don't even think Trump even knows. I don't even think Hegseth even knows. We're all just in the dark here. And this is not good. And there's been a lot of people comparing, this to the Vietnam War. That maybe we could be walking into another Vietnam. And Trump's, trying to play it down like, no, there's no way. No, we're not getting into another Vietnam. You guys got it wrong. Y'all got it wrong. So on and so forth. But that's what's so crazy about this is that we are constantly seeing things escalating. We're constantly seeing Iran say something, then Trump goes, no, like we're doing great. We're working out on these peace deals. Then we see Israel go all Joe Pesci on everybody. And then turns to America and goes, you're going to clean it up, though. You're going to back us up, right? We're seeing that in real time. So while Iran is allegedly having conversations with America about peace talks, Israel in the background going, rah! You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, because some people don't understand Joe Pesci, okay? Some people don't understand the Joe Pesci analogy, so let me give you another one. I got you. More present day. Okay, this is like a Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So like Israel is Kevin Hart. Okay, you got this man who's all mad and he's going crazy and he's doing all this crazy stuff, right? And then you got The Rock who's like big and muscly, you know what I mean? He's The Rock, right? America chilling in the background like he doesn't need to do anything because he knows he's big and he knows he's going to squash anything with just two fingers like that. It's over, right? But Kevin Hart out here talking. He out here talking. And he keeps on talking. and The Rock, America, is just sitting there going like, we're in peace talks. We're in peace talks. We're talking. But Iran's like, no. That's not what we're seeing over here. Because they're still throwing missiles back and forth at each other. Make it make sense. Like I said, this is the problem of what we are seeing. We are constantly seeing one person saying one thing and then another person saying another and another one saying something completely different. And you got your little hothead Kevin Hart sitting there going, rah, rah, rah. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm going to poke your eyes out. You know what I mean? And The Rock, America, chilling. Hey, man, hey, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do any of that. We got this. It's fine. We're going to work it out. Kevin, chill. Kevin, relax. I'm hot. I'm mad. I'm angry. You know what I mean? We know how he is. And we're dealing with all this BS. Come on now. Hold up.
And on to this story, President Trump is now giving Iran extra time to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, extending the deadline, claiming that he is planning a pause here on strikes on Iran's energy sites for now 10 more days.
Let me just say this really quick. Can we talk about this really quick? Okay, man. Can we talk about this? All right. So you got Trump who said a couple days ago, earlier this week, he said, you have 48 hours. Or we're going to drop bombs on you of the likes you've never seen before, right? He said all that stuff, right? And everyone's like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy, right? 48 hours. And now it's like the deadline clock was ticking, right? So then in the middle of that deadline, he said, we're going to wait until Friday. Today's Friday, man. So then yesterday, if I'm correct, he said, oh, no, we're going to move in another 10 days. Or he said 10 more days. We're going to let you settle. We're going to let you calm the F down. We're going to give you 10 more days. So instead of it being 48 hours, which is 2 days, Then he added another 5 days, which is 7 days on top of that, right? Or 7 days altogether, right? Because you have 5 plus 2 equals 7. Now you're getting another 10 whole mother-loving days. We're going to give you 17 days to calm down and come to your senses and open up the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to give you 10 more days, though. And if you don't do that, then we are going to rain upon thee with such a fury, epic fury, that you've never seen before in your whole entire life. So now he's giving him 10 whole more days. That's 17 days in total for them to calm the F down and do at Trump's bidding. Is that going to happen, though? Because let's be real. The fact that he added 10 more days, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Think about it for a second. He did 48 hours. Ain't nothing changed, right? So that he added 5 more days. And today was the deadline. So we are about to hear some really bad things, apparently, was supposed to go down today. But then last night, he added 10 whole more days. Do you think that Iran is going to fold in a total of 17 days? Why do you think he put 10 more days? Why do you think he put up 10 more days? Let me explain to you why. Because Iran wasn't folding. Iran's not moving. But he also wants the world market to not implode. So, of course, he's sitting here going like, okay, I'm not going to go crazy and drop any bombs on your energy infrastructure, your power plants and whatnot. Don't worry about it. We ain't going to do that. That's fine. We're going to chill. Because he's looking at the market too. Because as soon as we are to drop bombs on their power plants and their energy infrastructure, I'm telling you right now, the market's going to crash, or the market will go crazy. It will be like Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. You know what I mean? Meltdown initiated. That's what's going to happen. And then the oil prices, okay, per barrel are going to go sky freaking high. So he is trying to delay a catastrophe that sounds like it's going to inevitably happen. And this all would not have happened if we didn't drop bombs in the first time, the first time around. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't just lop the head off of the regime in the very beginning and bomb and kill the 40 plus elected officials or high officials within Iran, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be in this cluster F. We wouldn't be in this kerfuffle. You see what I'm saying? So right now he's like, you ain't, okay, I see nothing changed. Then. So we just going to add 10 more days. We're going to add 10 more days up in this mother lover, and we're going to see what to do. But y'all better change your minds in 10 days, or we going to, okay, 10 days have gone, and you ain't done nothing. How about 15 more days? Can we do 15 and then you could calm down and then we can come up to some sort of a peace agreement or something? How about that? 15 more days and you will get the wrath of God. Oh, okay, it's been 15 days. Damn. Okay, it's already been 7 months, man. You know what I'm saying? And I keep on saying that I'm going to drop bombs on that mother lover harder than you've ever seen before in your life. So can we come up with some sort of agreement or something? Because, we got people who need that oil. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Because he keeps on saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then he doesn't do it. Yeah, is it business days? Do the weekends count? Stop. Do the weekends count? Do the weekends count, or are they just Monday through Friday? You know what I'm saying? Are they open during the weekends? Because we can do something during the weekend. We can make something happen. We just do all the sailing during the weekend. Okay. But no, it's just 10 consistent days. I'm sorry. So instead of 2, it went to 5. And then instead of 5, it went to 10 now. You know exactly why this is happening, guys. Come on. He's doing this because he's trying to avoid a catastrophe that it seems as if they don't come up with some sort of agreement within the next 10 days or something like that, he's going to have to do something. He can't just keep pushing and going, okay, I'll give you 2 more days. Okay, still nothing. I'll give you 4 more days. Like he can't just keep doing that. Eventually, his people, Hegseth and Lindsey Graham that are just doing a circle jerk in the background about war. Okay, they're going to be like, we got to do it. We got to drop bombs. We got to start doing stuff. Okay, Lindsey Graham, cool. War. You know what I'm talking about. Eventually, he's going to have to turn to his people, and his people are going to tell him, yo, we got to start bombing. At least bomb one of them. At least bomb one power plant and see what they do. Huh? Show them what we're capable of. Okay? Come on, Don. Okay? I need this, sir. I need this, sir. I feel like that's what Pete Hegseth would do. I need this. I need this, sir. I need this to prove that I'm a man. Sir. Just do it. Just throw bombs on it. That's what it feels like at this point. Moving on.
He says Iran is begging to make a deal despite Iranian leaders claiming the opposite, saying they're not involved in negotiations.
They'll tell you we're not negotiating. We will not negotiate. Of course they're negotiating. They've been obliterated. Who wouldn't negotiate? They are begging to make a deal.
And we do know Iran and Israel exchanging more fire today. The IDF says it's launched a wave of strikes on the heart of Tehran as Iran keeps up its attacks on neighboring Gulf states with Iranian drones and missiles reportedly in both Kuwait and the UAE. NewsNation's international correspondent Robert Sherman live for us in Tel Aviv with the very latest on a potential peace deal. Robert, what do we know about progress on this part of the potential peace deal?
Yeah, a lot of this is between the lines here, Alicia. Of course, you've had Iran coming out and saying that there are no negotiations taking place. But we do know from mediators in Pakistan, Turkey, and Egypt that messages at the very least are being passed back and forth between Washington and Tehran. And according to the White House, they have placed this proposal on the table, a 15-point plan that Iran has the ability to either green light or negotiate back on. So, that is at the base level where these talks stand, which is why the president says that he's giving a bit more breathing room and time in order for these conversations to unfold behind the scenes. This was his statement here. As per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent that I'm pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th. Talks are ongoing, and despite statements being made in the media, they are going very well. I would emphasize, Alicia, that as you have these conversations taking place in the background, that does not mean the fighting is slowing down. Just today alone, we have seen Saudi Arabia, we have seen Bahrain, we have seen Jordan, the UAE, all coming under fire from Iran. Here in Israel, over the last 24 hours, we've had over a dozen alerts, 2 just in the last couple of hours here. You're looking at some of the destruction that rescue workers were picking through on Thursday. With the Israelis coming out today, slamming Iran, accusing them of targeting civilian sites and saying, even as these talks are taking place, they intend to escalate. IDF strikes in Iran will escalate and expand to additional targets and domains that assist the regime in building and operating weapons against Israeli civilians. From the American side, Central Command says that their focus has been on launch capabilities for Iran, ballistic missiles and drones, with new footage of those strikes being released by American forces today. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard, however, giving a new warning to civilians here in the Middle East to steer clear of any area, including residential spaces where U.S. service members may be, viewing all of them as legitimate targets. Alicia?
Yeah, Robert.
So again, they sit there and say things are going, like we're working these things out. We're working this stuff out. We're doing this, that, and the third, right? We're making things pop off. And then all of a sudden, we're in peace talks with Iran, but they're still causing mayhem and destruction in the streets in multiple countries. So again, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, this is just a very frustrating situation because I want to make it abundantly clear. I want peace talks to happen. I want it to already been happening. The stuff that's happening right now is terrifying for all the people. I'm thinking about people, not the regime, not the administration. I'm talking about the people, the safety of our people, of human beings is always hanging at the balance right now. And that is messed up. That is truly, truly messed up. I see that there's some breaking news here. I'm going to look into it really quick, but let me play this real quick from ABC News. Hold on.
This is what you need to know now.
The bill's amended is passed.
The Senate approved a bill to fund most of Homeland Security, including TSA paychecks. What comes next? Israel warning it could escalate and expand its attacks on Iran, even as President Trump claims the peace talks are going well. Plus, what we're learning about a flight attendant going missing during a layover.
This can't be true.
New images.
Yeah, there's a flight attendant that's gone missing, and that's what they're just talking about right there, which is crazy. But I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna try to jump ahead.
Scientists diving beneath polar ice to study climate change up close. Homeland Security. But the fight over immigration enforcement is far from over. Karen Travers explains.
Rachel, after more than 6 weeks of disruptions, there is a breakthrough in the Homeland Security funding fight.
Apparently, there is new updates on that too. So let's hear this. This is from the past. There's a new update as of like about 8 minutes ago. Interesting. Let's take a listen to this.
The Senate voted to fund TSA and most DHS agencies after a 42-day stalemate that left airports struggling and workers unpaid. That impact was felt nationwide with hours-long security lines, high absenteeism, and hundreds of TSA officers quitting their jobs. President Trump also moving to pay TSA officers through executive action, calling the situation chaos at the airports. The deal leaves out funding for immigration enforcement, the key issue driving this political standoff, and it is not a done deal yet. It must be passed by the House, which is scheduled to leave for a 2-week recess today, and then signed by President Trump.
The U.S.-Israeli war with Iran is now entering 1 month. Foreign ministers from...
Okay, so hold on. Because apparently the bill that we were talking about that could also be the end of this whole TSA debacle apparently got stopped in the House. Dear Lord, this is so dumb. Yeah, take a look at this. This is only a few minutes old. House GOP rejects bipartisan Senate bill to end DHS shutdown. House Republicans caught by surprise by the Senate's early morning deal on the DHS spending signaled they wouldn't be jammed by the other chamber on their way out the door to a 2-week recess, instead proposing a roughly 8-week stopgap measure to buy more time for negotiations. Now, yesterday that they were saying something along the lines of like, hey, we're gonna try to work this out, but right now we're not going to talk about anything when it comes to funding for DHS or CBP. We're not going to do any of that crap. Okay, what we're going to be focusing on is that we're going to be focused on making sure that the TSA individuals that work in TSA are going to be able to get some money and they're able to get funded, right? And we can get this bad boy up and running again, right? No, apparently it got stopped. Even though they're like, hey, let's just do a little bit of let's do a tiny stop. Let's just agree to agree on these things. And then we're not going to agree. We'll just circle back and talk about these things in 2 weeks. How's that? And apparently that fell short in the House. So the Senate's amended bill, which was fund all of the department except immigration and immigration. Okay, so to fund ICE, all right, and the CBP, like I said, Customs and Border Protection, received a largely chilly reaction among House Republicans, on Friday morning. The Senate passed it by voice note hours earlier. So the Senate said, we good with this. Let's send it over to the House and see what they say. And apparently House Republicans were like, hell to the no. That's insane. So the Rules Committee is planning to convene later on Friday to report a rule for consideration of the yet to be unveiled stopgap measure expected to run through May 22nd. So the House would then vote Saturday on the continuing resolution. That effort would be unlikely to pass the Senate, as Democrats have vowed to oppose any additional immigration enforcement funding, which is a massive, massive problem. You got Democrats who are sitting here saying, nope, we do not want any more funding for these ICE agents. You guys are not doing it properly. You're bringing in random dudes that can't even read. Okay, you're just bringing in a lot of muscle, but they can't even think for themselves. They're just dangerous individuals. We saw 2 people get killed in the streets during protests. We are not okay with this. We're not okay with how you're handling people in detention centers and all that. It is not okay. We're not funding this, but we have no problem making sure everything else is funded and taken care of. But we still need to have a conversation in a negotiation moment when it comes to the DHS, when it comes to the Custom and Border Protection and ICE. We could talk about anything else. This is basically what they're saying. We could talk about anything else. We can talk about anything else, guys. But we will have no problem funding all these other things, but we will not fund this crap right here. And because of that holdup, a lot of people are not making money. A lot of TSA agents are not making money. Now, from my understanding, Trump had something. He said that he passed something where he could actually get the TSA agents actually paid, but maybe that is part of this bill that they were trying to pass today, but I don't know. Okay, but this is just absolutely crazy stuff. As much as we are trying to get the people who are doing the most important work when it comes to us traveling back and forth, they can't even get paid, and they're going to continue to suffer. This is what's so sad about this. They're going to continue to freaking suffer, y'all. Okay? So again, as much as we heard, oh yeah, they're making moves, they're doing X, Y, and Z. Nope, not so much. Not so much anymore. Now there's a holdup. Now there's a full-on holdup because of that. Absolutely insane. And that just broke. That just happened. So we'll see what happens from this moment on, but I say they don't go on vacation. They don't go on recess, and they figure this thing out. If they have to stay out there, stay in there for 2 more weeks till they come up with some sort of agreement, so be it. But they shouldn't be able to have the ability to pack up their stuff and leave. Remember, some of these people, some of these representatives are going to have to see these TSA agents as they're getting on planes. You realize that, right? They're going to have to see these mother lovers in like face to face as they're passing through TSA, getting their bags checked and all that too. Is there not any, do they not feel any shame? Any disappointment for them not being able to figure something out like this? That's just sad, guys. It's wrong. It's really, really wrong. Okay? Here, this is what I was talking about right here. Trump says he will order DHS to pay immediately TSA officers as partial shutdown drags on. So he said, or they said, President Trump announced Thursday that he will sign an order to pay TSA officers who have gone without paychecks during the funding lapse at the Department of Homeland Security. So Trump said on Truth Social that he would instruct newly sworn in the head of Homeland Security, okay, Mark Wayne Mullen, to immediately pay our TSA agents in order to address this emergency situation. The White House did not immediately respond to questions Thursday night regarding where the money to fund DHS would come from, or whether there's a dollar amount or duration associated with Trump's forthcoming order. Yeah, like I said, he said, we're going to pay him. We're going to make sure we pay him. Okay. And Mark Wayne, you better take care of him, Mark Wayne. But it's like, wait a second. Aren't you asking for $200 billion for this mother-loving war that you threw us in the middle of? So where's this money coming from? Okay. Because if you got that extra money, how about this? Why don't you give us why don't you first off, yes, pay the TSA agents what they're due, pay them what they're due. In fact, give them a little bonus for this BS. All right, all of them, even the ones that had to leave, and some of them are donating blood, okay, and maybe other liquids, for bodily fluids, just so that they can survive. Let's be real, okay? A lot of them DoorDashing, a lot of them Ubering and Lyfting, and that ain't cool, okay? How about you pay them what is owed? But then also at the same time, how about you make affordable health care for all of us minions out here that are just trying to make a buck and live our lives? How about that too? Okay. Out of that $200 billion that you're trying to raise for this war, how about we don't go into a war and you use that money for the things that the American people need? How about that? I said it. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Because there's plenty of us that could really use that funding for freaking healthcare. Okay? So where is he finding this money to pay TSA agents? Okay, which makes no sense. TSA agents, officers missed their first full payments in mid-March, leading many to call out of work. Call-out rates for TSA officers have exceeded 11% nationally, with rates at some airports passing 40%. The high call-out rates have led to lines at the airport taking more than 4 hours. So before it was like 3 hours and 3-4 hours. Now it's 4-5 hours. Like, it's getting crazy out here, guys. Okay, how expensive things have gotten, how excessive it is, and how much time you have to put into just so you can travel on a damn plane. I'm telling you right now, a lot of y'all who are about to get on planes right now, by the time you get, if it keeps going at this rate, and it keeps getting crazier because now the weather's getting better, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want to show off your bodies on, you want to show off your beach ready body, at the beach. Okay. Some of y'all ladies want to be showing off how slim, thick you are and everything. And that requires you jumping on a plane and flying out to the damn beach. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of y'all at this rate, if it continues to be this bad, 4 hours, man, you would probably get to your destination driving faster than you standing in that line to jump on a plane. I'm just telling you. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. It's insane the amount of crap that we have to go through just so we can get out. You know what I mean? But let's take a look at this. This is from Fox. I know, but this is from Fox. Okay? Let's take a look at this. More stuff. 10,000 more troops. More ground troops to the Middle East. Word?
The Pentagon reportedly considering sending another 10,000 troops to the Middle East as the president has extended the pause on striking Iranian energy facilities.
Let's go now to Mike Tobin, who is live in Tel Aviv as the Israeli army continues its bombing of Iranian military targets. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, Carly. Good morning, Todd. Yeah, things are moving fast out here. It looks like a diplomatic solution is still active, but pushed down the road a bit. The information you're talking about comes from the Wall Street Journal that the Pentagon is weighing sending an additional 10,000 troops to the region. That's in addition to the 1,500 mobilized from the 82nd Airborne. It's not clear which division the troops would be drawn from. This as the president again extends the deadline for Iran to allow shipping through the Strait of Hormuz or face destruction of the power grid. The president posted on Truth Social, talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others, they're going very well. The president told the host of the Five, Iran allowed 10 ships through the strait as a gift.
And so I gave them a 10-day period. They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7, and I said, I'm going to give you 10 because they gave me ships.
But they're talking to us because they've got a disaster in their hands. They're defeated. They can't make a comeback.
They now have a chance to make a deal, but that's up to them.
Israel's not letting up with airstrikes over Iran. The IDF says they're operating relentlessly against the regime's ballistic missile array. Overnight, the IDF claims their aircraft struck at the primary facility for production of missiles, and sea mines are still striking at missile launchers when they become available and missile storage units. The missile fire into Israel is constant. Mostly what we get are the cluster bombs that deliver these bomblets with 10 pounds of explosives in each of them. On Tuesday, we saw a missile come into the Tel Aviv area with a 220-pound explosive warheads, and last Sunday it was 2 missiles struck the Negev, very near the Negev research nuclear research facility, each of them with 1,000-pound warheads in them. Carly and Todd.
All right, Mike Tobin live for us in Tel Aviv. Mike, thank you. Let's bring in national security and military analyst and international relations expert, Dr. Rebecca Grant. Dr. Grant, thank you so much for joining us. So the president has pushed the deadline back 10 days to reopen the Strait of Hormuz while these negotiations get underway. But at the same time, there is this reporting that the Pentagon is considering sending more troops into the region in what is described as the troops being able to deliver a final blow. So with all of that in mind, where do you think things stand right now?
Well, I'll tell you, 10,000 additional troops is not an invasion force. This is more strategic pressure against Iran's few remaining assets, whether that's Karj Island or the control of the strait. So those troops working within the joint force are going to give President Trump more options. And that's what Iran needs to see. They need to see that President Trump is ready, air, land, and sea, to put whatever pressure is necessary to get them to comply.
That's right. It's what we talk about all the time with his strategy of carrot and the stick. We'll negotiate, but at the same time, there's lingering in the background the possibility of a larger military campaign on the horizon. Let's take a moment, Dr. Grant, to listen to the moment the president revealed what Iran's present to the United States was. Watch this.
They say, we will give you a present. And the present was 8 ships. We're going to give you 8 ships. And they actually made it 10. And that proved to me that we're dealing with the right people. But then they didn't want to say that publicly. And I said, well, you should say it publicly. And now they are saying it publicly.
What do you make of this?
Well, you know, a few dozen ships have gone through the strait with various destinations, including India and China. So I think President Trump here is working on the negotiating channel. He said, let some ships through. Iran said, OK, we can do this. And this proves that there is a coherent command and control from the negotiating team down to the remnants of the IRGC. He's seeing if there's a workable structure in Iran that could uphold any agreement that they may reach and have the Strait of Hormuz free of Iranian threats so the shippers will go ahead and put their cargoes through.
Also, Dr. Grant, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was in France this morning for meetings with G7 officials. And obviously, the president has made it very clear that he is deeply disappointed by Europe's lack of cooperation when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and said that it's something that he will never forget. So what's your reaction to this, and where our relationship with Europe stands, and also how our adversaries are viewing Europe in light of the fact that they were not willing to help out?
Oh, you know, I love Secretary Rubio, and I guarantee you Rubio is going to lay into these particular allies.
He's also, I think, running in 2028, but just saying.
You know, Japan, so much of the oil that comes through Hormuz goes in that direction. All these countries have P-8 radar planes, frigates.
Pam, what presser started? Is there a new presser that started? That's news to me. What is it? Talk to me, Pam, on Facebook.
Navy vessels, missile defense capabilities, and they can be the core of an international stabilization maritime force in the Strait of Hormuz. And wow, it is past time for these G7 allies of ours to step up.
Yeah, and the president said yesterday during his cabinet meeting, he noted that the German chancellor said this is not our war, and then went on to say, well, the war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, also not our war, but we were willing to help out. So a notable point there made by the president.
Yeah. Speaker Johnson. Okay, let me see what he's saying now, which is also, what is the Keebler elf saying today? Let us find out.
to go along with that. So we're going to do something different. We're going to do the responsible thing. Republicans are going to continue to govern and do the right thing morally, legally, and politically.
Politically? Okay. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's take a look. This is live. This is just happening. Oh my God, he is so short. Oh my God, he is really short. He's so short. Like I said before, this man's so short when he sits down, he the same mother-loving height. Okay, let's go.
Thank you all for waiting. It's been a long night, long day, but we just had a very fruitful, almost 2-hour conference call with all the House Republicans, and we have a united group. Let me just be completely unequivocal and put this out here in the open and in the beginning here to make clear. The Republicans are not going to be any part of any effort to reopen our borders or to stop immigration enforcement. We are going to deport dangerous criminal illegal aliens because it is a basic function of the government. The Democrats fundamentally disagree. The Senate Democrats have hoisted upon this appropriations process their radical, crazy agenda. We call it crazy because that's what it is. They want to reopen the borders, and they want to stop the deportation of dangerous criminal illegal aliens. We have to do these basic functions of government. We have to fund them in order to do them. In the last several days, we have recent examples of dangerous criminals in this country killing innocent Americans. We had an 18-year-old college student in Chicago, a young lady who was shot in the back by a dangerous criminal who had been released in that sanctuary city and first released at the border under Joe Biden. They opened the border wide for 4 years. Just yesterday, or in the last 36 hours or so, an 83-year-old man's pushed onto the subway tracks and run over by a dangerous criminal illegal alien. This has to stop. The Republicans are not going to be a party to this. They have taken hostage the funding processes of government so that they can impose their radical agenda on the American people, and we can't have any part of it. This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill, and I'm going to just read you one excerpt of it because it's pretty alarming, and it says everything that you need to know in Section 4. This is on page 2 of the bill. This is an actual copy of the bill. That excerpt. It says, quote, "The contents printed under the headings of this bill, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Security Operations, under the heading of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Protection, shall have no force or effect for purposes of this act, and amounts specified in the final bill under the subheading Border Security Operations and under the heading U.S. Customs and Border Protection and under the headings of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the Department of Homeland Security shall be zero." We're not doing that. And it is unconscionable to me that the Democrats would force some sort of negotiation at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to hoist this upon the American people and then get on their jets and go home for their holiday and pretend and think that we're going to go along with that. So we're going to do something different. We're going to do the responsible thing. Republicans are going to continue to govern and do the right thing morally, legally, and politically. We are going to take care of those who take care of us. The employees in the Department of Homeland Security have gone without funding and without paychecks for 42 days. It's the second longest shutdown in U.S. history, bested only by the longest shutdown in U.S. history that these same radical Democrats hoisted upon the government in the fall of last year. 42 days they've gone without pay. We've had, by some estimates, close to 500 TSA agents who have resigned from their jobs, and who could blame them? They've gone half the fiscal year without a regular paycheck. We can't ask that of anyone. And the lines around the airlines and at the airports have been wrapped around the buildings because of all this turmoil. We are very grateful to have a strong commander-in-chief in the White House who has taken real leadership. President Trump has already ordered by executive order that TSA agents will be paid, and that machinery is in process right now. The Office of Management and Budget is working through that to make sure that that happens, and we will reduce the lines and the waits at the airlines, and we'll make sure that those who are protecting us are paid. But what we are going to present and what we're going to vote on this floor, our Rules Committee is working through this right now. We're going to put a clean, simple, continuing resolution that will go until May 22nd. It's just a number of weeks to allow for all those who sacrificially serve the country and protect other Americans, all these agencies, 10 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, will continue at their current funding levels to make sure that they are protected. We're going to send that over to the Senate, and we hope that they'll accept that. They can do it in record time, just like that, with the unanimous consent. They could do that as early as Monday. In the meantime, TSA will be paid. We will have done our jobs, and we will protect the homeland, because that is the most basic responsibility of the Congress, is to protect the American people. We're not playing political games on this. We encourage some of our Democrats, hopefully we'll have some of our Democrats in the House who go along with this and stop the pain that's being forced upon these people. The reason that we can't accept this ridiculousness, okay, is because we're not going to risk not funding the agencies that keep the American people safe. The Department of Homeland Security is the third largest department in the federal government. It has 10 agencies beneath it. It's not just TSA, it's also FEMA, the Coast Guard, all these agencies that keep us safe. We must fund them. This is not a game. Republicans will do the responsible and honorable thing, and Democrats will continue to play politics.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You and John Thune are not on the same page. You came out and criticized Democrats. He was the engineer behind this. Why are you guys not on the same page? And are you not extending the shutdown? If you were to accept what the Senate had passed, this could end tonight and the TSA lines would shrink.
I wouldn't call John Thune the engineer of this. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate have forced this upon the Senate. I have to protect the House. Let me answer the question, Chad. I have to protect the House, and I have to protect the American people. That's our responsibility. Our colleagues on this side understand this is not a game. We are not playing their games. These people want open borders, and they want criminal, illegal aliens in the country. They do not want to enforce the law. They want to literally defund. You just read it in the bill here. They want to give $0 to enforcing federal immigration laws and keeping the border secure. That was the biggest issue in the election of 2024, the wide open border that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hoisted upon the country. And 20 million, by some estimates, 20 million dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens included in that number came over the border. We have terrorists in our country. We have obviously murderers. They're putting it on display. And then these big blue cities that have sanctuary city policies, they're releasing these people onto the streets. They released them over the border when they came over under the Biden years. And that is the turmoil that we're facing right now, the very serious threats to the homeland and everybody. It's not just long lines at the airport. It is the danger and safety of everyone. We'll talk more after this is passed. We'll get it done.
Has the president endorsed this plan? Has the president endorsed this plan, Mr. Speaker? Has the president?
I spoke to the president a few moments ago. He understands exactly what we're doing and why, and he supports it. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Thank you.
the American people are just sick and tired of every one of you, both Republicans and Democrats, come to this podium and blame the other side. People have been standing in lines 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. There's TSA workers that are selling their plasma. At what point is a leader on either side going to stand up and say, we have a path forward that everyone will agree to? This vote today will extend the shutdown under any circumstance.
No, it won't. No, it won't. Thank you. Let me answer the question. I'm glad you brought it up. The House Republicans have now voted that today will be the 4th time to fund the Homeland Security. This is not party blame game. This is a record. You can hold up the record. Look at the Democrats. They're voting over and over. Yesterday afternoon, we gave them a chance to fund Homeland Security. You know how many House Democrats voted yes? 4 of them. They want to use people as pawns. People are not pawns. These are workers who are sacrificially serving the country, many of them without pay, to make sure that you and your families are safe. And we're done with it. This is not a political blame game. This is one party doing the job and getting the government funded, and another that's using people as pawns. We're not going to do that. Listen, we're going to send it over there, and you can see what they do. If this is not UC'd and they don't do it, the president has shown leadership. He's going to fund TSA agents. We'll get that covered. But we have the rest of the country to take care of. We're not asking them to do anything heroic. These aren't partisan games. We're not adding bells and whistles to this. It is a clean continuation of funding to make sure that the most basic responsibility of government is fulfilled. And we'll see how that goes and see what
As soon as possible. Interesting, guys. But yeah, obviously we got plenty of problems here, and it just never stops. Here's something. Purr, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it, and for the super chat. I'm going to grab some of these super chats here too, because there are some that I'm going to be using for topics that we're talking about here, because you guys are so incredible, and I appreciate the support. Seriously, I really do. Breaking: Qatar withdraws from the war. And now they're working with Iran in diplomatic diplomacy. Interesting. That is an interesting piece of information, Purper. Thank you so much for letting me know that piece of information. Hold on. Let me pull some of this up to see what's going on. And then allegedly, Iran has hit like some nuclear plant Israel has hit some Iranian nuclear plant, which is also very, very new news for me as well. But hold on, let's take a look at this. Oops, muted. No, that ain't it. Hold on. It's interesting that they have withdrawn. Hold on. Ooh. Where the heck? Try to see if there's any, video on it or something like that. So far, I don't see anything. But nope. It's interesting because I'm looking to see if there's. I'm seeing things like on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like but they're not like reliable sources saying it. I'm trying to find something that shows it. Shows about the Qatar like actually officially leaving or withdrawing from the actual war. But it is interesting. I'm going to keep an eye out for that and see if I can find that. Excuse me. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Belena, thank you, Belenal. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Pascal, have you seen the Treasury approved adding Trump's signature to our currency at the end of the year? Yep. Apparently, they're saying like it's starting as soon as June. They're going to start printing his signature on money. On all our currency. I don't know why, but which makes no sense. More useless spending of our taxpayer dollars, in my opinion. I agree, 110%. I think that's absolutely insane. Take a look at this. His signature will be on U.S. currency soon. Here's how it may look. So his signature will be added to all future U.S. paper currency, starting with the $100 bill. The first time in history that a sitting president's signature will appear on American banknotes. So the first $100 bill bearing signatures of Trump and of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will be printed in June. So as soon as June. So it's coming up very, very soon. Okay, 2 signatures are now displayed on U.S. currency. Those of the U.S. Treasurer and the Secretary of the Treasury. Trump's name will replace the U.S. Treasurer's name. Other bills with Trump's name will appear later this year. Those bills may have several weeks to circulate through banks. Despite images circulating on social media, Trump's image will not appear on U.S. currency. So apparently, his name will be right here. Wild, right? Like he really got to be seen everywhere. Isn't that interesting? Blue strip will embedded in the length of the bill. The strip is woven into the bill rather than printed on top of it. Then let's see. This is the bill has a texture. If you run your finger along Benjamin Franklin's shoulder, it will feel bumpy. Interesting. Is there scratch and sniff on this too? But moving on, a faint portrait of Ben Franklin appears when the bill is held up to the light. So they're saying that the bill, when the bill is tilted, a large number 100 turns green instead of copper. Interesting. And then the Wells signed used to sign the Declaration of Independence are represented by a color shifting bell placed on a copper inkwell. Interesting. So the bell changes colors as the bill moves. So they try to make sure there's no way to make counterfeit, as best as they can, a way to make this not as counterfeit heavy, that could be easily made as something at home. Interesting. Carmen Ice, thank you so much for the love. Iran has said for weeks that they're ready for ground troops. This is the most stupid small PP war I've ever seen. And it's proof that men should never be in positions of leadership or power. Restore the matriarchy. There's been some good leadership, males leading. You know what I'm saying? It'd be very interesting to see a woman become president. I'd really love to see that. I really would. I'd love to see that. One that's good though, nothing corrupt or nothing of that sort, but just one that is would be about that. You know what I'm saying? Be interesting. I mean, imagine the time if Hillary won, if Hillary actually won. Imagine a time if Kamala won. Be kind of wild, right? It'd be a wild, wild time. But let's continue on because there's more. There is more, like Jill Biden. Her Secret Service agent shoots his own self in his own doggone leg. Yeah, he actually shot himself in the leg. Let's take a look.
With us here on Live Now. My name is Josh Breslow, and I do want to get you back to some breaking news that we have been following as we have a little bit more information coming in via Fox News and other sources here. As we learned, a U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to former First Lady Dr. Jill Biden reportedly shot himself in the leg over at Philadelphia Airport. That is coming in from investigators and now confirmed here by Fox News.
Yeah, guys. Oh, yeah. Somehow, this dude protecting Jill Biden was able to go bang, bang in his leg. How did this happen? I don't know. I really don't know. But it happened. It mother loving happened.
KYW News Radio reported that the Secret Service agent assigned to the former First Lady accidentally shot himself in the leg early this morning over at Philadelphia International Airport, and a large police presence was outside the American Airlines ticket counter there at Terminal C, if you are familiar with that area. Secret Service spokesperson Nate Herring said in a statement to Fox News Digital, quote, on Friday morning, just after 8:30, an on-duty U.S. Secret Service agent suffered a non-life-threatening injury following a negligent discharge while handling a service weapon at the Philadelphia International Airport during a protective assignment, end quote. He went on to say, quote, there was no impact to the protectees' movement and they were not present at the time of the incident. There were no reported injuries to any other individuals, and the special agent is being evaluated at an area hospital in stable condition. The Secret Service's Office of Professional Responsibility will review the facts and circumstances. We are grateful for our law enforcement and public safety partners who provided medical assistance. Again, all of this here just coming in as we are learning with the help of our Fox 29 Philadelphia team and Fox News Digital that a U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to former First Lady Dr. Jill Biden reportedly shot himself in the leg there at Philadelphia Airport. It sounds as though nobody else was injured, but again, there is an active investigation, so we will keep you updated here as we learn more on Live Now from Fox.
I think that they need to do a full-on investigation on how he got this mother-loving job in the first place. Yeah. I think yeah. I think yeah. I think that would be a good idea. Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you say that too? Just a little bit. The investigation is, how did he get the mother-loving job? Because if he's able to just go bang bang in his own leg, you don't think he'd be able to go bang bang on Jill and even Joe, for that matter? Accidentally, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying for for bad, I'm not saying out of bad. I'm just saying with ill intention. I'm saying this, I'm just cleaning, bang. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? How do you get the mother-loving job, man? It's dumb. How does that happen? How does that happen? How does that happen? Because I've heard stories like that in the past, and it's like, kids, I get it. You know what I mean? Kids, I get. Because they don't know nothing about the pew-pew. You know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's why kids should not be handling those kinds of things at all, period, point blank. But at the same time, this is a person who should be well vetted, trained around firearms. So how the hell did this happen? How? And then how? But here's the thing. How did you get the job? How? It is a funny story. I mean, thank God he's okay. I'm sure he's going to be fine. But how does that happen? And you don't think that the Bidens have had enough? You don't think they already had enough? How did he get the job, man? Damn. Moving on. Let's get this one too. Explosivation. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Explosivation. Thank you so much. These politicians are too old to run to the toilet, but given a pass to run a country, no wonder everything's gone to poop. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Honey, I just dookied, And she's just grabbing a notebook or something like that. And she's like, oh God, just hold on. Oh God. Oh God. Just come with me, honey. This way. Not that way. Over here, honey. This way. Okay. Yeah. Trying to protect the dookie butt. You know what I mean? Mud butt. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Ride the guy. Thank you so much for the love. Trump Sharpie marker rant was one for the books. Yes. He's still on that, isn't he? He's still on that. Super May, thank you so much for the super sticker and the Tabitha. Thank you so much. We're not done. The show's not over yet, okay? Nurse for God, thank you so much for being a member for the past 13 months, over a year. Appreciate it. I'm a slow learner. We all are, sweetheart. It's okay. I had liquid in my mouth when you did a voice. Needless to say, I had to change my shirt. You're welcome. Just here to make a mess. You're doing an excellent Pascal. So I'm doing an excellent version of myself today. That's new. I know it's a typo, but you did write that, so I had to read it out loud. You're doing an excellent Pascal. Wow. I don't know if I'd be flattered or insulted if somebody tried to impersonate me. You know what I'm saying? because I know it'll just be all over the place. You just don't know what you're going to get each day. Some days I'm chill. Some days I'm psycho. Some days I'm out of my mind. Some days, okay, I'm a little bit country. Some other days I'm a little rock and roll. It is what it is. Sometimes I'm hip hop as F. Sometimes I'm classical music. You just don't know. You just don't know, man. Okay? But I am doing the best version of myself today. I do feel kind of good. I am tired. I didn't sleep much. But I feel good. I'm here with y'all. And that makes me smile. Yeah, it makes me smile. Moving on, though. We got a few things. Okay, so there's a few things that we need to talk about that are kind of off kilter. Okay, I know we've been talking about doom and gloom and and we got plenty of that. We're going to be talking about that here again. Okay, we're gonna get into that. Okay, yeah, Chef. Come on, Chef X. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to keep y'all guessing. It ain't fun if I gotta have the freedom, man. I cannot be held down. I cannot be tethered, man. Okay, Chef. What you sauteing right now, man? What you julienning? What you prepping, Chef? What you cooking right? You cooking right now? Because every chef I know is always cooking all day long. Are you a skinny chef? Or are you a little bit more rotund? Because apparently you can't trust a skinny chef, which is bullshnish if you ask me. But hey, what you cooking, Chef X? I just want to know. What you cooking, bruh? What you cooking? Or is that just a name? Or do you like cook other things? You know what I'm saying? Hey. I'm just asking a question. Chef X. Athletic chef. Oh, so you got the 6-pack and everything? And you're like, hey, if you just put some ginger root in your drinks every day, you'll lose weight just like me. Kind of like that? Turmeric, little cayenne pepper, ginger root, and you're good to go. You'll get a 6-pack like me. The pounds will just melt off, girl. Are you that kind? Oh, you are a certified chef. Okay. Does that impress the ladies? Does that impress the ladies, Chef X? Does that impress the ladies? Not the athletic chef. I mean, sure, you're athletic. Fine. You said what you had to say without saying it. You feel me? But you knew girls are listening and watching the damn show, you snaky little. But it's fine. We good. We know. I know. Okay? Athletic chef. And I felt the bass in your voice. You didn't even have to. You're just writing it. And I could hear the bass in your voice saying athletic chef. So like you cook good, you cook clean, or you just, if it tastes good, it tastes good, and then you burn it off at the gym. I'm having conversations with random people on this show right now because I don't give a damn. See how untethered I am? You never know what you're gonna get. Like a box of chocolates. I don't know why I did Forrest Gump there, but we went there. But let me know, Chef. I like good food, and I could cook too. Okay, I used to be a chef too. Used to, not anymore. Yeah, that was not. I mean, I love to cook, but it just wasn't my thing. Oh, you're a seafood specialist. Okay, word. That's what's up. Like, I don't know. Are you Aquaman? Like when you say you are like a seafood specialist, what exactly does that mean? Do you talk to fish? I just want to know, man. All of us want to we're just having questions. We're just having a fun, light conversation. Do you talk to fish, man? Like you talk to octopuses and stuff? Or is it octopi? You would know. You the seafood specialist. Is it octopi? Is it octopi or octopussies? What? Oh my God. Okay. I'm done. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone. Okay? but he just does all fish, seafood stuff. That's what's up. We all love fish. In fact, I'm not kidding. Speaking of seafood, okay, you want to see food? Well, the remnants of food. I just ate salmon while we were listening to the Keebler Elf tell us how they're not passing that bill. Okay, so seafood for me. So again, it's funny. Did you know that? Because you're a seafood specialist. Did you feel that through the show? And you said, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy? That is wild, man. You do speak the fish. Word. That is a skill, chef. That is a skill. So moving on, guys, we got to go a little bit into some other stuff, okay? Mad love to Chef X, man. Mad love, okay? Mad love to Chef X, the seafood whisperer. No. And if you got some good recipes, man, holla at your boy. Send me some. Come on, okay? It's one of your favorite. Did you really have to say it like that, though, bro? Did you really have to say my favorite protein because I'm an athletic chef? Come on, man. God, mother, you got me trying. You got me trying to curse here, man. Okay, this is my favorite protein because I'm an athletic chef. I'm all good. I take my shirt off. It's a washboard. Shut up. We are all made in God's image. Remember that. Okay, we're good. Talk to fish, man. Moving on, though, we're going off a little off kilter here for a second. Not like we didn't already go off kilter, but we have got to take a look at this situation. All love to Chef X. Real talk. All love to Chef X. But there is something that wait, what? What happened here? What in the hell just happened here? Okay, my computer tripping. All right. Something just recently happened that I think is very important to see. Did it disappear on me? What the? Hold on. There it is. Let's pull this up again because I had it and then it disappeared on me and I don't know where it went. But here's the thing. Have you guys heard about this? This is a little bit of a left turn. Just a full-on heads up, okay? Here it is. Have you heard about the comedian that is getting sued by Disney because he made the Lion King joke? He made a joke about the Lion King. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. And this is very real. This is a story that's getting shared quite a bit. So let's talk about this. All right. So the Lion King is suing, the Lion King singer is actually suing the comedian for apparently mistranslating the Circle of Life chant and seeks more than $20 million in damages. Have you heard about this at all? Have you heard about this? This is absolutely insane. Okay, a comedian went on to a podcast interview with the likes of comedian Godfrey. And if you don't know who Godfrey is, he's a very, very funny guy. He was the 7-Up guy way back in the day and all that. But anyway, he's a comedian. He does really great impersonations and all that. But he sat down with this guy and he basically asked him, hey, this guy's African. So he was like, hey, I know what they're saying in the song. Whatever they're saying, right? That part, right? In the very beginning of Lion King. So the guy, the comedian, says, oh, well, I know what it is. It just says, oh, there's a lion there. That's it. Oh, there is a lion. And then and it was just like this ongoing joke, right? So now apparently the South African composer who performed the iconic opening chant to the Circle of Life at the start of The Lion King is now suing the comedian. The comedian's name is Learnmore Jonasi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. For allegedly damaging his reputation by intentionally misrepresenting the song's meaning on a podcast and in his stand-up routine. Seriously, this guy is going after a stand-up comedian for him making a joke about the mother-loving circle of mother-loving life. Take a look. Let me show you the video itself.
Sing it like, Nanzingonya magiti baba. You were way off. Ingonyama. All right. You said, do that again. What does it mean? It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God. You're joking.
Oh my God. It's hilarious. Oh my God. Okay?
That is not what that means. That is not what that means. That's exactly what it means. It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God. It's a lion.
It's hilarious, okay? It's pretty funny. Now, whether or not that's true or not doesn't matter. It's just funny. But this dude actually got sued. He got served he got served. Real talk. He got served while on stage, while doing stand-up. I'm sorry, this is so funny. Because, you grew up and all you're going is, you know what I mean? You don't know what they're saying. And then suddenly he's like, oh, there's a lion over there. Oh, my God. Yes, there's a lion. Like, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay? Now, here's the thing. This guy got served on stage. Not kidding. Got served on stage.
Was less fortunate. What is this? What is this? Service. Oh, shit, I just got served. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. You just... For those who are wondering what this is for, I did a joke about the Lion King. I don't know, you saw it? That was me, yeah. There's a lion.
Flashback.
Nanzingonya magiti baba. You were way off. Ingonyama. All right. You said, Papa, you made up. You should see me when I do it in front of white people. Oh my God. Why you look? Oh my God. Hold on. Can you do that one more time? Do that again. What does it mean? It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God. You're joking. That is not what that means. That is not what that means. That's exactly what it means. It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God. It's a lion. This whole time, I thought it was like this beautiful, majestic. Look here, there's a bull. Lion. It's a lion.
This dude got sued for $20 million, guys. $20 million for making a joke. Straight up for making a mother-loving joke.
It's a lion. I'm paying for that shit now. This is the shit. Fuck the Lion King. I just got served, bro.
You really think that this guy, let's be real. Think about this for a second. He just made a joke. It's just a joke, man. It's one stupid little joke. And the composer and also the performer of the song, of the beginning, of the chant and everything, Benihana, Benihana, okay? All that dude, okay? He now is suing the comedian for $20 million. Why? Why? Yeah, it's impossible, but it's real. Yeah, he's not even worth, he's no disrespect, he's probably not even worth six figures yet. Not yet. You know, I'm sure he's selling out places because of making the joke, you know, on that platform. And he's obviously known. He's out there doing stand-up. Okay. But what the hell? $20 million for making a joke, guys. Making a mother-loving joke.
Yeah, I got served right in front of you guys. I'm now raising money and GoFundMe page.
And that's exactly what he's doing now. I'm not kidding. If you go to his Instagram page, he is literally going like, hey, I need help. You guys got any good lawyers, some legal advice? I need it because I'm getting sued for $20 million for making a joke. Real talk. I'm wondering if this is grounds for a proper lawsuit. Real talk. Because why would this guy be able to, you know what I mean? He just made a joke and it's $20 million. $20 million. And now he is in trouble because he made a stupid ass joke on a very, very popular, iconic, let's be real, Lion King's fire. Okay? I love that. I loved that movie when I was a kid. Still love it to this day. Movie is fire. They don't make Disney movies like that anymore. But the composer is suing this guy because he made a joke on an iconic movie that this guy has probably already made more than enough money off that movie and off that opening sequence than what he's actually suing this guy for.
Oh, this is so funny, man. All right, how do we move on from this? You know, this is what happened. You know, I was watching The Lion King, and my question was, why do these lions have American accents? And they're like in Africa. And the only accent they gave it to the monkey. What the fuck? And it was Caribbean. What the fuck, man?
Good call.
Listen, I now have a gluten allergy, anxiety. I got served. I'm now American. Yes. Any lawyer? Was less.
That's crazy. Okay. But this is really a true story. This guy was on a show. This clip went viral. Not this one. I mean, yes, this part, him getting sued, is going viral now too, but he got sued, or he went viral for that, you know, oh my God, you know what I mean? Oh, there's a lion. Oh my God. Right. And it was hilarious. People were laughing about it. And then suddenly now he's getting served while he's on stage. All I can say is this is just wrong. It's wrong. Okay. I thought we were all about freedom of speech and all that. And of course, if this guy wants to sue him, I guess go ahead and do it. But I mean, it's already been done, but will it stick? Or will it just be time wasted in and out of courtrooms just to appease this composer that's feeling some type of way about a guy just making a small joke? It's hilarious. But it's a small joke. It's wild, right? All right. This is, we have got to talk about this. We do. We have got to talk about this one. Okay. There's a lot of people that are reacting quite viscerally, quite gutturally to Drewski. Now, I don't know if you know Drewski. Drewski is a comedian. He makes a lot of skits. He does skits where he makes fun of everyone. Let me just say this again. Before we go into what we're about to see, this man makes fun of everyone. Just saying that out loud. He'll talk about everything from deadbeat baby daddies to, he just literally makes fun of every single person on this planet. That's it. Okay. So remember, like maybe about a year ago, he did a skit where he was at like the Daytona, whatever, like the Indy 500. Okay. And he was basically he was in full on white makeup. He really did look like a white man. All right. And he's out there and he's just being what he considered the stereotypical country boy, country white boy at this event. Right. And he's just doing his thing. And people were just floored. Yes, there was people who were absolutely angry as hell at him because it was whiteface, right? He was like doing the white chicks approach, right? Now, this video, and let me repeat, he makes fun of everyone. So I'm not surprised when he did a video called How Conservative Women in America Act. Let me show you just a snippet of this. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. The makeup is out of this world. Whoever is his makeup artist needs a bigger gig and a serious raise, because the makeup here is insane. And guess who he's playing as the conservative white woman? I'm playing only a little bit of it. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm playing it, because I want you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. And I might have to cut in and out because of music and all that. But let's go.
Get on your feet, boy!
You're praying, but
sorry, I got to skip ahead.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops. That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
I got to mute because of music.
Ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
Okay, look at this. This part right here threw me off. Watch.
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
Okay. Now because there's plenty more. He does more at the end here that is just hilarious. Pilates. Okay, but he says something here. Let me just play this part too.
To protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs.
Okay, now I can't show the whole thing because of copyright stuff and everything. But here's the thing: what say you? Because apparently a lot of Republicans are losing their minds over this video. Okay, I was thrown off by the stare. It's like he's been watching. Like, it's like he was watching Erica Kirk's interviews, because this is clearly Erica Kirk. If you didn't pick it up, it's clearly Erica Kirk. All right. And he did another one where he's making fun of pastors at mega churches and everything, which was absolutely brilliant as well. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I thought this was hilarious. I will say that. I thought this was hilarious. I said it. Sorry, not sorry. I thought it was hilarious. Now, here's the thing. For someone who makes fun of everybody, and that's what he does, he made fun of somebody. And, of course, he's kind of expanding it on conservative white women, but at the same time, though, it's kind of true. And funny at the same time, though. Okay? So, again, Yes, let me see this. LJ just said this. Let me grab this too. Thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate it. I'm a conservative, obviously, and the humor was not my cup of tea, but I can see where people think this is funny. We have to learn to laugh again. I agree. Yeah, make America laugh again. That should be a t-shirt or a hat or something like that. Okay? Truly, we are not in a place right now where we can easily make a joke and just let the joke land and just laugh. And I don't say like blatantly overly offensive jokes, right? But every time he does something like this where he's doing whiteface or something of that sort, this comes back, right? The conversation of people taking jokes not taking jokes so seriously, or how we as a society have lost our sense of humor. But I will say this though too: if this was a white man doing, blackface of a black woman, would it be okay? Would it be all right? And I think that's a conversation that a lot of people have, especially white conservatives. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's true. A lot of white conservatives will sit there and go, well, how would you like it if a white, woman did blackface and did, impersonated Obama or something like that? For me, I'm like, well, if there's parts of it that I'm like, I'm not okay with it, right? But then when you look at something like this, when you got somebody who's making the jokes and attacking everybody, he makes jokes on everybody. Like I said, from the ratchet of the ratchet to the most conservative to the conservative. He just makes fun of them all, right? And yes, I think that there needs to be a moment where people need to realize that it's just a joke. Now, if I was Erica Kirk, I'd be hurt. You know what I'm saying? I could see her not enjoying this because she's like, oh my Lord, this is blatantly him impersonating me. I could see that. But at the same time, it's a joke, right? It's funny. It's funny. But there's not a lot of people that are, willing to acknowledge that, okay, it's a skit. This is who he is. And here's the other thing too. You have the option of not watching. You see what I'm saying? You always have the option of just not watching any of Drewski's skits if you find his stuff to be offensive. But like I said, I've seen some skits like LJ said, like, hey, I may not be a fan of that kind of comedy, but I can see why people find it funny. It's the same thing. I feel the same way about other comedy too, because there's some skits or some comedy that even Drewski's done. And I'm like, that ain't funny. I don't know why. I don't know how he's making crazy money off of this freaking video. I can see how he makes crazy money off that video. But there's other videos that I've seen. I'm like, that ain't funny. I don't really care for that skit. That was a waste of time. You see what I'm saying? So there's plenty of skits and comedy and comedians that are out here that are just not my cup of tea. And he's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. He ain't Kevin Hart, everybody. He ain't Kevin Hart. And he never will be. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He obviously has a massive platform, but he is not Kevin Hart. So again, Kevin Hart, you won't see somebody of the likes of Kevin Hart running around doing this. Nah, hell no. You see what I'm saying? He's more commercial. He's more commercial. Drewski, not really. He's known. He's just not he's not the crossover comedian. Does that make sense? He's not the Bill Cosby, before the Spanish Fly. Okay, before the Spanish Fly, he's not Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart. You know what I'm saying? The crossover comedians that can be Dave Chappelle, that can just do both sides. Bernie Mac. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, a lot of people think that Kevin Hart is lame, and I get it. I get it now too. I think he got too commercialized way too fast. That's just my problem with him too. But that's a whole other Charles Dickens story in itself. Let's keep it a bean, right?
But again, like I said, he's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's the thing. You have the ability and the privilege of being able to skip or not watching it or just blocking his account. And you don't ever have to watch any of his stuff. But I will say the stuff that he has been doing recently, I think have been very on the nose. That one is very on the nose in my personal opinion. The one that he did with the pastor was straight up on the nose. The one where he was at Daytona, I thought it was really amazing. But I was more shocked on how he was interacting with people, and people could not tell that he was in straight up makeup. That he wasn't a white guy, that he was a black guy in white makeup. That was what I found to be shocking. And how the people that he was running into at this Indy 500, how they were treating him and how they were reacting with him. You see what I'm saying? While he was basically in full on undercover around these other people. It was just very interesting. You know what I mean? Very interesting. But like I said, he's not for everybody. Let's keep it real. He is not for everybody. So yeah, not everybody's going to find his skits to be funny. But again, his and Drewski is not a stand-up comedian. I don't see him doing. I mean, just like anything, stand-up comedy is a muscle you have to work. You know what I mean? Enough time, I'm sure he could be really interesting or entertaining on stage. But his wheelhouses are these skits, and he's getting paid. This mother lover getting paid. For a fact he's getting paid. And maybe he's auditioning for White Chicks 2. Because allegedly they're starting to shoot White Chicks 2 very, very soon. Yeah. They're coming back with White Chicks 2, y'all. So again, maybe he's like, hey, bring me in. Maybe. We'll see. But again, that's crazy. So what are your thoughts? Do you find it offensive? Did you think it was hilarious? Did you find it to be true? What are your thoughts? I mean, a lot, like obviously, with the whole Charlie Kirk situation, the Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk situation, obviously it's all very, very shocking. How she's been reacting, how she's done certain things in regards to his passing and everything, and what she's been doing as of late afterwards has been really sus as hell. I will say that, you know what I mean? And he's just calling out what people are seeing. He's calling out, and he's just doing a skit that everybody is doing, like it has been calling out as well. And the other thing too is I've been seeing a lot of other white women put on a blonde wig and act like the grieving widow, just like that, right? So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting, but I digress. Let's continue on. I'm sure there's more info going on right now as we speak. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, guys. But yeah, I definitely wanted to hear. I definitely wanted to hear what you. Anybody out there living in Nashville? Anybody out there in the chat? Live in Nashville? A White Chicks watch along with Pascal? Maybe. Yeah, well, that's the thing, creep. Let me tell you, I'm a creep. So here's the thing, creep. I want to bring in more of this for every show. So you get all the doom and gloom, but you get some stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? We don't have to wait till Friday to chuckle. We don't have to wait till Friday to look at what's going on outside of politics or missing person cases and all that. So trust me, there's going to be more of this. Okay. Nicole B, no, we're going to be watching that most likely this evening. The second part of her interview, because I think there's just been so much, like I said, so much doom and gloom lately that I'm like, we need to look at other things and talk about other things that are going on. Just saying that out loud. Now, we do have to talk about Kash Patel's emails getting hacked. So let's talk about that really quick, which is also pretty damn insane. Let's take a listen to this. MS Now.
15 past with the breaking news. Reuters is now reporting Iran-linked hackers are claiming they have breached the personal email inbox of FBI Director Kash Patel. Those hackers have published photographs of Patel along with his purported resume and what appears to be personal correspondence dating between 2010 and 2019. But MS Now has not confirmed that any of those documents are legitimate. And DOJ tells our Carol Lenig they do not know the details of this apparent hack. Joining us now, former CIA director and MS Now senior national security and intelligence analyst John Brennan, and Jane Harman, former congresswoman and ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee and president emerita and distinguished fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. Welcome to you both. Director Brennan, how concerning is this report? And we want to point out the hack does not cover his time as FBI director, but it does allegedly cover the time he worked in national security and counterterrorism at DOJ, and depending on how far into 2019, possibly his time on the National Security Council.
Well, Alex, the Iranians have very, very sophisticated cyber capabilities, both from the standpoint of collection as well as disruption. And I'm sure that the war ongoing right now with Iran has led to an increase in their efforts and determination to target a number of individuals with their cyber hacks and capabilities. So again, I'm unsurprised that the Iranians are engaged in such activities. We've had to face it for the past 10 or 15 years in terms of what the Iranians have been able to do. And given that, the FBI director is a high-profile target, it's again, not surprising that the Iranians would do something like this. But again, I have to underscore just how sophisticated the Iranians have become and their ability to do things like this.
Do you have any concern, sir, that it goes beyond just being an embarrassment for Kash Patel and that could enter the realm of compromising national security?
Well, again, it depends on what the Iranians have been able to access, whether it's against Kash Patel or others, and to see whether or not what they have been able to obtain gives them some type of insight into national security matters. But again, the reporting is that these were older emails from Kash Patel. So again, it's unclear exactly what the Iranians might have. But again, I think other officials also need to be extra vigilant during these times.
So, Congresswoman, this comes after the president announced that he is once again delaying attacks on Iran's power plants. He's extending the deadline for them to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, this time by 10 days. Here's what the president had to say. Take a listen.
Well, the Iranians asked me to do that, and I was not happy with them because I made a statement that we're having productive negotiations. I don't know that they get there. Maybe they do, maybe they won't. And so I gave them a 10-day period. They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7, and I said, I'm going to give you 10 because they gave me ships.
So that's 7 versus 10 days. Is this about Trump giving Iran more time or giving himself more time?
It's probably about both, but let me add to John's answer before, which is that not only do the Iranians have great cyber capability, but we have dumbed down our cyber defenses, both at DHS, DOJ, and DOD. That's been a Trump priority. Experts have been moved out. And so what happens next time? And by the way, your reporting was that Reuters found this out because the Iranians claimed credit. It isn't that our intel agencies found this out. And I would just point out, it's not just Iran. China has incredible cyber capability. And when I chaired the Commission on National Defense Strategy in 2024, we were briefed on the fact, it wasn't classified, that China might try a major cyber attack on U.S. infrastructure ahead of or contiguous with some effort to annex Taiwan. So we're not ready for this. You asked me, sorry.
No.
What was the other thing you asked me?
Well, I was asking you about whether this 7 versus 10 day time frame, and you said both. I mean, you did answer it. You think it's both. It's serving both Iran and the president, giving himself more time.
Well, let's see what the deadline is tomorrow morning or tomorrow lunch. I mean, his deadlines move around very quickly. And remember the TACO acronym, Trump always chickens out. I want to add to that the CACO acronym, Congress always chickens out. Let's see what the House does with this TSA bill now.
Director Brennan, a senior White House official told MS Now the president is, quote, getting a little bored with Iran, and he just wants to declare victory and move on. And the Wall Street Journal reports the Pentagon is weighing whether to send 10,000 ground troops to the Middle East to give Trump more military options. They cite Defense Department officials with knowledge on that one. But that would mark a major escalation because we know thousands of Marines and airborne troops have already been ordered to the region. So what should we make of that contradiction?
Well, I think with your previous question, as far as the extension of this deadline, a charitable interpretation of that is to give negotiations more time to see whether or not there could be a compromise reached, as well as to give U.S. military forces the opportunity to set the battlefield and to prepare for what I would think is going to be a horrific escalation of hostilities if, in fact, we use these forces, these Marines and others to land. I'm not surprised also if Donald Trump is getting bored with this. This is going on, I think, far longer than he or his advisors thought would happen. And it appears that the Iranians are going to continue to be defiant and will be able to survive this military onslaught. But we know that Donald Trump jumps from one thing to another. It's a way to either deflect attention from any of the challenges that he faces, but also this really requires, tremendous strategic thinking as far as how we're going to get ourselves out of this mess. And it's clear that, to me at least, that the Trump administration doesn't know what the appropriate next step is, particularly in light of the continued challenges that we face in the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranian ability to continue to be able to send missiles at Gulf states and Israel. And this war seems, there's no sense that it's coming to a close. In fact, the potential for escalation, I think, is very real and very, very worrisome.
Yep. First off, obviously, they talked about in the very beginning, Kash Patel's emails being compromised, obviously getting hacked and everything. That's terrible. But, honestly, from what has been shared, online and everything, it doesn't look like it's been too bad as far as like what they have found or what has been, leaked out here. So that's always a good thing. Let me explain. It says here, okay, he was hacked as embarrassing private photos and emails leak online. So that he was hacked by Iranian linked operatives who have published his private emails and photos online. The hackers known as the Handala hack team said Patel will now find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. Material uploaded by the hackers seemed to include personal and work correspondence spanning for 9 years, from 2010 to 2019. The pictures show Patel on vacation in Cuba, sniffing a cigar, reclining in a chair, and posing next to a large bottle of Havana Club rum. In one photo, he's posing next to a vintage car, and in another, it's next to a large bronze statue. I mean, it looks like it's just a lot of, like, they hacked his stuff, and so far what they've put out is just not that, of course, but like, see photos of him sniffing a cigar. I mean, old photos. This is some old stuff, right? Now, that could be them saying, hey, you think you're surprised about this? Oh, it ain't nothing what we found in your emails and in your photos. We got more, but here's a little teaser of what we got. You see what I'm saying? So it could be, they could have much more and much worse, but at the same time, maybe they don't have anything at all except for boring ass photos of him standing next to a bronze statue, him leaning on a hood of a car, him sniffing a cigar. Like, you know, it's like him, you know, is surrounded by mounds of cocaine, him digging a hole and putting a dead body in it, him robbing a bank. You see what I'm saying? Him giving out classified information to maybe, you know, to the enemy. Stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? I feel like that would be the stuff that I'd be interested in, right? Just curious. Not him sniffing a cigar and standing next to freaking statues and stuff. Okay, he went on vacay. Congratulations. He's another human being that got a chance to get out of the country and see other countries. Cool. Right? But that's interesting, right? Hackers mocked the impenetrable computer systems at the FBI and remarked that they were, quote unquote, brought to their knees within hours. Diggity damn. Yeah, Cuban cigars. I know. This is the security that the U.S. government boasts about, the hacker said. Ha 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 ha. This is a cyber giant that thinks threats and bribes can silence the voice of resistance. They continued, to the whole world we declare the FBI is just a name, and behind this name there is no real security. If your director can be compromised this easily, what do you expect from your lower level employees? And then some. Yeah. So a Justice Department official confirmed Patel's emails had been hacked, but declined to elaborate. What did they get? What else did they get? They said, oh, this is what you say is impenetrable? We had them at their knees by dinner time. Ain't that crazy? So the FBI didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Dalla styles itself as a pro-Palestinian vigilante outfit, though experts believe it is a front for the Iranian government. The group recently claimed to be behind the hack of Stryker, a Michigan-based medical technologies company. So again, there's so much. This is not good. This could be very, very bad. Because again, if they say that the FBI's, computer system and all that stuff is impenetrable, can't be hacked, and they said, oh, we were able to do this very, very quickly, and it was very easy to hack into their ish, that might be a full-on wake-up call of, hey, FBI, get your stuff together, man. Maybe this Handala hack team could pull up the actual text messages that were sent between Tyler Robinson and his furry lover, Lance Twiggs. That's what I'd like to know. Or text messages or emails that were sent between him and other people of the administration saying, yeah, we're just not going to share any of this information to the world about what happened to Charlie Kirk, nor are we going to give any information about what really happened to Nancy Guthrie or any of these other people that have that we've been wanting to know about. Oh, let's not forget Epstein, mother lover. You see what I'm saying? But again, by them saying, oh, look at this. This is him with a cigar, him standing next to a bronze statue, him next to a car, him on vacation, him holding some babies, all that stuff. They could be like, you think this is all we got? Au contraire, mon frère. We got a lot more. Just wait. That's just the first wave. And it's going to be like dick pics and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be shots of his weed whacker. This girl buck naked. Something's going to happen. And it's going to be like, oh, we didn't even see. Oh, I'm blind. I can't see no more. You know what I'm saying? Wait for it. Wait for it. Yes, and the UFO guy who is missing as well. Why is that man missing suddenly alongside other people that he knew that are now dead, that are connected to the whole UFO thing as well? That's a whole other conversation in itself. But guys, I'm going to wrap up the show here. I know that somebody just asked this. Jamie said, what about Nashville? I'm over here wanting to know, dag gummit, dag nabbit. Okay, let me tell you. Apparently, people in Nashville are complaining about the city turning into like a Vegas or an LA. They're basically saying it's getting overrun by clubs and nightclubs and bars and stuff, that people, Nashville natives, are not happy with how Nashville is transforming into what it's transformed into. That's what allegedly people are talking about Nashville. That's why I was asking if anybody is in Nashville. Is that true? Is that the general consensus, that they're not feeling the sudden shift, right? The sudden change of trying to turn it into like Nash Vegas, basically. It's interesting. But yeah, a lot of people are apparently complaining about how much Nashville has changed and how over commercialized it's become. I guess we'll see about that, right? But guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. We're able to kind of chill a little bit, talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, somebody just said, you mean progression? Yes, it's progression too. But I can see how some people are like, I just missed the old Nashville, nothing but honky tonks or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. I don't live there, but it is what it is. Anyway, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for all the super chats and all the membership comments and all that. But please do me a favor before you leave. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button over there. Subscribe to this channel, please and thank you. Subscribe to this channel. Actually, something. Hold on. Sorry, I know I do this randomly sometimes, so don't leave yet. I have an idea, and I just want to get it off my chest. I've been thinking about this quite a bit because I know that a lot of this is more personal than it is about doom and gloom. Okay, but I do want to talk to you guys about this because this is something that's just really been burning in my brain for a while now, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit. And I'm thinking of trying to put together a tour. Yeah, where I go out to a venue and we talk whatever the hell's going on during that day. We get to meet each other. Maybe it's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of us hanging out, talking about this, but we are live. We're talking to each other. We're hanging out. I get my band. We play out with, we play live on the show or, at this event. So it's more of a combination of, you get some music, you get some comedy, you get some discussions we get to talk in person, live, right? So I'm thinking about that. And the reason why I'm saying it out loud is because I don't know what the first thing to do. I've never done something like this in my life. And maybe you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that could maybe help me construct this idea, help me find some venues to create a tiny little tour, that kind of thing, right? Because I already got the band. And I'm already me, so it's not like I need anything else. It would just be us getting together and talking. And no, it's not Chat GPT. Nicole, you funny. He. But you see, I did he, and I moved on. So the thing is, though, it's trying to figure out or talk to somebody like a booker or something like that somebody who knows how to do that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because this is something that I've been thinking about for years to do. I really would love to do it. Get a chance to hang out with all y'all. And something like the City Winery or something like that, where we, get out, we chop it up, we talk about things. There's a little bit of music, there's a little bit of conversation and all of that, right? So Serene, you just, you can just send an email at info@thepascalshow.com. It's in the, thank you, Tipsy. Yeah, because I am interested in trying to piece something together and see if I can do this in maybe the fall time or something of that sort, because I think summer will be too soon, but fall time. So something I've been wanting to do, but I don't know where to start and who to talk to about that to try to get something like that going. But like I said, it'd be a variety show where we just have some fun. We're talking, we're hanging out, we perform some music, and we all have a holly jolly Christmas. So if you know somebody, maybe you can just help me connect with them or something like that. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there because I feel like if I don't say it, you know what I mean? If I don't say that out loud right now, it'll just be something I'm thinking about, wanting to do, that it will never be achieved. And that's something that is definitely on my list of things I want to accomplish this year. So if you know anybody, send it. Okay? Send it my way. Okay? I'm just saying that out loud. And maybe in a few months' time, we'll have something set up. That would be awesome. Wait, hold on. Unique just said, you need to start with where. In order to do that, you need to determine where your audience will show up, then need a strong event / project manager. Logistics, tickets, etc. are all important. Thank you. I appreciate that information. Okay. If I was to do something in person, don't worry, there would be security. Okay. Doesn't matter how big the man is, how big I might be, a bullet can take anybody out. Okay. Let me just be real. And there are plenty of crazy people out here in these streets. So yeah, I'd want to be as safe as possible. And I want everybody else to be as safe as possible too. So thank you, Sabrina, for saying that. Sounds like a great idea. Yeah, like I said, I don't know where to start, but that's why I wanted to say it out loud. It just came to me off the top of the dome just now, and I'm like, F it. Let me just say it now. You know what I mean? Let me get it out the way. All right. So again, thank you guys again for saying, hearing me out. If you know something, please send it my way. And hopefully we can make some magic happen. Anyway, guys, that is the show. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button, become a member, support the channel if you can. That'll be greatly appreciated. Hit that, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over here. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. If you know something, please send it my way. It could really use the help. Seriously. I'm dead serious. Send it my way. All right? And we'll be talking here soon. I'll most likely be on this evening. So get ready for a nice, fun nighttime show. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.